boy Free Game, joined by Ryzen and Black Kuchia. Today we're going to be discussing a plethora of different topics. So, yeah, well, guys, what you want to start with next, or first, I should say.
What's good, everyone? Yo, I got beef because it feels like China is getting all the good Naruto and Boruto stuff. Did you guys see the new trailer for Naruto Mobile?
No, yeah, okay, bring that up so we can see
Bet,
what's
bet,
going
bet,
on.
bet. So Naruto Mobile is a Naruto gacha game that's in China. It's officially licensed and it makes millions in China. And they recently celebrated their 10-year anniversary, and they always go crazy with these animated scenes. It's like you have Tsunade as like an immortal goddess type thing, and you have like other little side stories that they have. But this was the latest one, and it has Naruto and Sasuke.
Yeah, like the cinematic trailers.
サスケ、お前と一緒に戦える日が
I mean, just look at that.
That's fire.
Quality.
Hey, pause it real quick.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what? That's what you said it was for the video game, though, right?
That's a yeah.
It's a mobile game.
Oh, it's a mobile game. I doubt it's going to be that beautiful in a mobile game.
I actually have a Chinese account,
Uh-huh.
and it's more so, the graphics are decent. The CGI definitely carries it. Like, unfortunately, it's not like the doesn't look like the CGI, but it looks pretty good for a mobile game. Like, I have I can pull up like a few different fight scenes, but it's a moneymaker in China. Unfortunately, Naruto as a mobile game these days doesn't have that pull in the West because like all of them got canceled, which is kind of sad because it feels like China's always getting like all these good Naruto stuff these days.
I mean, it is based in China, so I mean, what could you expect?
Facts.
It's just like really crazy. They got like the little 10 tails fight, Susanoo.
行くぜクラマ
And yeah, hopefully we get an actual Naruto game one day that actually has cool things like these.
Nah, fact. I mean, I'm not. I'm a fan of the Ninja Storm series, bro. So I always thought they did great on every Ninja Storm iteration that I played, and even Boruto version. The one I never played though was Naruto the Boruto Shinobi Striker. I never played that game personally.
Surprisingly, Shinobi Striker it's still going on, but it lasted
Yeah,
for a
it's
long
still
time.
going
I
on.
didn't expect
Yeah,
that.
for
I didn't
sure.
think it was gonna last like longer. I thought it was gonna be like I thought Jump Force was gonna last as long as Shinobi Sport Striker is lasting, but I didn't
And
think Shinobi
and
Striker was.
unfortunately, Jump Force was
Yeah.
killed before its time.
Hmm.
But in other Naruto news, a popular Naruto collector card game recently got a global version in the West. I actually went to Target a couple days ago and found booster set 1 for the Land of Waves arc.
Or for
Wait,
like each
what?
characters and stuff.
Yes, they're called Naruto Kaio cards. And for the longest time, you could only get them in China. They're um, a legitimate product. And I think they're owned by Tencent, is the parent company. I could be wrong. They registered for global, and now they're releasing the cards in the US. And like, let me pull up some of the art frames. But it seems Naruto as an IP is making some like side moves, which is always great to see.
Yeah, it's gonna be around for a while. Where there's always gonna be games. Like games and like entertainment wise, like television wise, it's going to be around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But here it is. They're Naruto Kaiyo cards. They rebooted it in the West, so for now we only have the Land of Waves arc. But these are some of the cards in China that will hopefully be getting soon in the West. And not gonna lie, I love it. I'm a bit disappointed. It's more of a collector's game instead of like an actual card game. I feel like we've been overdue for a Naruto card game, but it's
It's
always
not
nice
that
to
Shinobi
see.
bout.
Yes, it's always nice to see Naruto come out with like new merch, especially when it's in the West.
Wait, hold on. Sorry.
Yeah, some of those. Yes, the Sasuke one looks hard. I like the Sasuke one, so it's cool.
How are the cards selling though?
In China, they're super popular.
Oh,
And
okay.
the
And
West,
that's all they care about.
yeah, the West used to buy them from China. So like you'd go to like the online shops and you'd buy them. So I'm guessing the company just saw the popularity in global to where they registered everything, and now they're selling Booster Box 1.
Mm.
So I saw them at Target. I picked up a pack. There's like Haku, Zabuza. They're starting all the way from the land of Waves. So you'll get your Land of Waves set 1, your tuning exam set 2, and then like your special sets. So I hope they succeed. I can't wait to see more.
No, yeah, definitely. But are there any Boruto cards?
Yes, there are in China.
There's a bunch of boards. So they had a whole bunch of.
They're not out yet in the US, but they'll be releasing Boruto cards soon.
They had the whole
TBV or early Boruto.
So far, if I'm remembering right, my words, China only has up to the anime, so end of part 1.
Mm-hmm.
So once TBV comes out with an anime, we'll probably most likely have TBV Boruto as a card.
Mm. Yeah, no, I mean I rock with that. Cause they want to outsource and they want to make as much money as they can, and then like merchandise. A lot of the times they say like sells more than movies or like at least TV shows when they're syndicated, and they go through their runtime, especially with like action type things where people want to buy the toys and buy the card games and stuff like that when they're invested. So
100% like that.
I would grab a couple when they get released in the United States. I'll probably order it from Japan. What are we talking about?
100%. They're already out. At least set 1 is out in the US right now. You can find them at Target or like online for pretty cheap. And I hope we get more sets, to be honest. Like I really do want to collect more. So far I only have like a few cards. And I'm hoping to see more, at least in the card collecting business. I hope to see more Naruto stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. I totally agree with that. So we got sneak peeks coming out, which Bora said in the group chat. What do you guys think is the what do you guys think is like going to happen in the next chapter? My bad. Lost my train of thought.
I'm gonna cope. And I think it's too early for this, but I want to see Daemon get humbled.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's time. I think we have to showcase the new measuring stick. Code was used as our last measuring stick. We know that Daemon can't handle these new threats from Koji at the very least. We've heard it. We've heard it time and time again. We just haven't seen it yet. I think once we finally see our Hidden Leaf linchpin, which is basically Daemon, he ended off the series as the de facto strongest person in the village. So I feel like once we actually see Daemon get taken out, we'll finally see how big Jura especially is a threat. Because right now we've just been hearing that they can't beat Jura. And me personally, I believe Jura can like clap Daemon. But there's still a lot of Daemon fans, and rightfully so. They do need to see it. That they think that depending on the context, Daemon can still win. I respectfully disagree, but I can definitely see it. So I do hope we get to see Daemon getting humbled a bit, just to reassess our power levels.
Yeah. But you said something. You said it was like alluded. Like he said that Damon wouldn't be able to he wouldn't be able to like win this fight.
Yes,
Like,
let me get the panel.
yes,
If we
please.
remember back when Juro,
Oh, hold on 1 second. What's up, Big Bar? I thought you couldn't come on today.
Oh no, yeah,
good.
I was coming on today. To be honest, I didn't even know we was live. My bad. I said you're in the middle of us recording.
Nah, you good. You good. I can just like cut this out when I put it on the channel. But yeah, I thought you wanted to do tomorrow for the sneak peek. We just like right now we're just like we're giving our like guesses on what the sneak peeks could be and what like the next chapter could allude to.
Oh shit! I say no more then. See, now I could stay on for today and hop on tomorrow. I was gonna leave at like 10:30, so
no, you're fine. Yeah, you good. You good. All right. What were you saying, Ryzen? I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Yes, but if we go back to chapter 16, we have Koji warning us that if we anger him, we have no chance of winning. Absolutely none. This is Daemon also being in the village. The fact that we even have a ton of bad timelines where Jura effectively wins means that Daemon isn't able to either directly or indirectly beat Jura. Either A, Jura just eats Kawaki or Boruto, and then we get a tree, which makes the whole thing moot and point. Or Daemon just can't brute force Jura and kill him before that happens. So, going by these statements from Koji, we can allude to the fact that it's not as simple as sending, like I've said multiple times, it's not as simple as sending Daemon to the big bad and having him go crazy. There's some situation, either power-wise, ability-wise, or a mix of both, that prevents them from just giving Daemon what he needs and sending him away to fight. That's why I think we need to finally showcase Daemon struggling in a battle, to stop saying it to our face, but also showing us that Daemon can't handle these threats, showing us that he's now the new measuring stick. Ikamoto used him in the last chapter to remind us that even though Sarada got stronger, even though Boruto to an extent got stronger in Kawaki, Daemon's still there. He's still that guy. He does. It doesn't matter if she has a Sharingan, a Mangekyo Sharingan, or a new ability. He can still kill her. He's just that strong. So in my opinion, I think he's showing us this to remind us that Daemon's there. But I think it also makes the fall more perfect. That, yeah, we were counting on Daemon, but now we're even seeing him fail. So it just makes that threat more real of Jura, the Ten Tails, maybe even Momoshiki. That's my opinion, though. That's my cope. I think it's too early for this, but I do want to see Daemon get humbled in the next chapter, even though my brain kind of says that's not possible right now.
No, I'm all for everything you said. He needs to be humble. I've been saying this from the beginning, but Black disagrees with me.
How much Momushi do we think could potentially humble Daemon? Like, we've seen 3 of them put in some sort of work on Boruto.
That is a good question. Now, do we think he could get overwhelmed with his ability? If he's fighting multiple people at a relative level that just keep coming?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have no idea.
Let me double check the last panel, because if Daemon reflects his ability on, if Daemon reflects against Momushi, if he doesn't destroy the eyes, that another Momushi is going to spawn multiple ones. So he could get overwhelmed. Koji even says if you haven't make too many, you'll get overwhelmed. So try to keep it between 20 to 30. So I do want to see how Momushi's abilities interact with Daemon's abilities.
But the thing is, yeah, that's one thing as well. But on the potential, like, or him overusing his abilities, he's not really going to kill the Momushi clones if he's just reflecting their abilities, because you can only kill them by destroying their eyes. So it's like, no matter how much he reflects, like, they still won't die.
And even if they do die, unless he can get them all, they're just gonna keep spawning.
Yeah, keep multiplying.
or at least get rid of their eyes. They're just gonna keep spawning a million times. And we know for a fact that at least one timeline, at least one hypothetical timeline, had Ada get taken out. So we can only assume that either Daemon got separated from Ada or Daemon got clapped. So it's basically pick your poison. Either way, he lost the battle. It's either he lost a battle of strength, or he lost the battle of the mental mind.
Yeah. I'll say this. Well, let me start actually by saying this first. This is the only topic in regards to like Boruto I'm gonna bring like agenda piece in. Like
I'm all for it.
basically, it's my word versus Ikimoto's word. So until I see somebody step to Daemon, in my mind, he's the absolute strongest. And I'd like that you bring up in all of your points. The reason why I never rebuttal is because you bring in the fair judgment, and all of your points you mentioned the ultimatum where either it's simply the world destroying and Damon dying in that scenario, which in most cases that's what I believe the scenarios to be, or somehow Damon getting like outsmarted or outwitted, which still results in him quote unquote losing but not being defeated in the battle. So I think realistically that might be the case, but I also agree with the point we need to see Damon struggle. um, it's just like I think Ikimoto is proving to us why he's a professional writer, and a lot of us aren't because no matter how much I try to wrap my head around it, it's like he's writing himself in a way to where the story has to go one way, and it's at a point in the story where both sides need a win. Where it's like Damon's been doing this so long, but we still want to see him fight full power and actually like show us the limit of his abilities. But also on the Shinju side, aside from Jura, like what have they done other than get killed every time they step on the battlefield? So inevitably, Ada, i.e., would be the one to die in this case, and Mamushi would be the first Shinju to get a win. So it's like he has to go down one of these routes, and whichever way he goes, the opposite end is gonna be like, well, damn, So I think it's good because it brings a point from like if you're in a story and you're telling yourself or you're saying no, this shouldn't have happened, but this should have happened, you're already done. You like the story because you're insisting something that you wanted as opposed to something that actually happened. So even like my insistence on Damon just being established as the strongest, even going against Jura. Like I tell Free Game all the time, bro, I don't think Jura can beat this guy Damon right now. And I think if Ikimoto were to either prove me right or wrong, it's still good on his case where it's like I'm invested enough in the story to have this strong enough opinion. But I say all that to say this because similarly, so prior to even my entrance into the Damon fandom and becoming the star of the fandom as well, um, I didn't really care for the character. I would be honest, probably it wasn't until after he whooped the brakes off of Cole because honestly, truly and speaking, I thought Damon was going to be Code's first victim to establish to us how strong an unlimited Code was. And the main consensus during that, like pre-chapters before we got the fight and we just saw the power ups, I've seen a lot of people. There was a couple of murmurs that pointed out Damon didn't really care about the power, but I was on the broader end, like, oh, Code's about to sun Damon. He's about to go to the building, go crazy. He's unlimited. He's stronger than Jigen and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of people were questioning how Damon's ability can do this or his ability can do that. And then comes to find out, he just simply whooped the the brakes off of him. Like he beat this man down senseless. And I think inverse and outverse, we can forget. Like even if his ability doesn't work, he may simply just be strong enough to be like, okay, how about I just overpower you or overwhelm you? And I think strictly speaking for like this guy Mamushi, for the fact like we saw Boruto take out, I mean, out of the five he was fighting, he took out two of them, both with like one shot. It wasn't like it took multiple cuts to bring them down, and he sliced through their heads like butter. I don't think it's gonna be that crazy to see Damon like kick Mamushi's head in or kick his head off or step on his face and break him both of his like I just think he's just overwhelming power, bro.
Oh,
Long story
100%.
short.
And he fits all the requirements. If we take it all face value, all the divine trees are at minimum stronger than base code. If we take the statements at face value, just gonna say that to keep the peace.
Yeah.
At minimum, they're stronger than code. We know Boruto's stronger than Code since we saw him whoop Code. We've seen Daemon, even without his abilities, easily whoop Code in a similar scenario. I have the panel right here. Even Bug realizes that, yeah, he overestimated Code's raw power.
Yeah.
Daemon, even without his abilities, is still stronger just based off his raw stats. So I think Ikamoto is in this position where he has to pick a poison. We know Daemon can't really help us by himself in this Ten Tails threat. We just don't fully know how. He could get written out of the story, and it might not be a strength thing. It could be an ability thing. It could just be he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Ada got eaten, and he just lost the will to live. So that's what I really want to see happen. I think this is the arc where we see Daemon's pecking order within the power level scale list. This Code was used as that measuring stick last time. Basically, in my opinion, Code was basically the Orochimaru. We thought he was going to be the big bad. Orochimaru got humbled, and then we got introduced to the Akatsuki, who were basically super Orochimarus to an extent. We had like 9 other S-rank ninjas who were equivalent to Orochimaru. And I feel like we kind of got that with like the cyborgs with Ada and Daemon, then later on the Divine Trees. So I feel like we need to have this referendum. Yeah, actually, I like that word, referendum on Daemon. And then once we get that, we can figure out a way to move forward. Because either way, he has to get kind of pushed back to the side of the story for Sarada, for Himawari, for Kawaki and Boruto to grow, and others. Because because Daemon, in an odd way, kind of fits that Naruto safety net. In most of part 1, no matter how bad things got, you knew Naruto and Sasuke were in the back pocket. You knew they'd show up. You knew until they showed up, nothing was really that bad. In that weird scenario, Daemon fits that. Because even if these other characters lose, in the back of your mind, you still say, yeah, Daemon's still there. Daemon's still drinking his milk and still chilling. So I think we need this referendum now, and it's going to be really interesting to see how Ikamoto does it. Because he could go the strength way like most Battle Shonen does. Like, yeah, Daemon just got overpowered. Or he could do something different, something roundabout, something more nuanced, to where Daemon might outclass Momushi, but certain circumstances and certain planning movements just
like Shibuya Incident Gojo.
Exactly. Couldn't
I
have said it better.
when I like when you were bringing up all of those points. One of the things that came to my mind was like the approach Horikoshi took with the narrative for. Wait, do you watch or read My Hero Academia before I even go past that?
I finished that like when it ended.
Yeah. So like the approach Horikoshi took with Bakugo towards the end, where that mindset where he was like, "Nah, I'm the last line of defense. I'm the final villain." So I think in terms of Damon, for his perspective, he can look at himself, and he does probably look at himself like, "Oh, the Shinju are trying to do all of these things in their world, and he's gonna be the last obstacle in their way, and obviously he's not gonna let them have their way." So I think he can take that approach to this arc. Ikimoto can do a really good job with Damon to make it where we don't get no action from Damon until towards the end. Like he probably might be the last fight or the fight before the last. Because if you pay attention to each of these major arcs, Ikimoto is running into like a pattern where it's like a separate character aside from Boruto or Kawaki have a major moment and then they follow along, right? So the first was with Himawari, then we saw Sarada, and now we can see it with probably Damon this arc. It could be someone like Inojin or Shikadai, but my bet right now is going to be on Damon because each of these characters had small little instances where they had focuses on them prior to the arc starting with Himawari, her warrior connection with Naruto and thinking he's still alive, and then her wanting to help Boruto bringing that out. And then with Sarada, we see her, she was so contemplating and focused on that conversation she had with Sumire at the start of that arc, and then by the end we see boom with her. So now we see a little bit of emotion right here on the perfect panel that you have pulled up from Damon for the first time in Blue Vortex, where he's making a self promise like, yeah, I'm gonna protect Ada no matter what happens. Let the battle start right now. So I think this is some of the small Easter eggs and clues that lets me to believe Damon might have the final to the last or the last battle within this arc and probably be that last final boss or that final villain, I guess, quote unquote, against the Shinju or against Momushi in this case.
I agree.
I like that thought, but the Boruto ride has been surprising us. They've been having like the main god fight first. Like even Boruto fought already. Like if Damon gets like a little 1-2 in, I won't be surprised.
That's what's really interesting because and I feel like Mello said this once a while back. In the last arc, Boruto was kind of in that like future Trunks situation where he was in the back initially. And he didn't really do much until Konohamaru ended up in a situation, which, you know, in my opinion, should have let Koji follow that plan to a T, but that's semantics. But in a 180 from that arc, we have Boruto, just like you guys said, fighting first. Like he's on the front lines. It's implied that Kawaki's going there, and he'll be here soon. And with the others playing kind of defense to keep the Leaf villagers and the Leaf ninjas away from Boruto, it seems like Daemon's playing that role to where he's the one who's watching now. He's the one with a clairvoyance user, and he's the one who's basically listening into what's happening and keeping a close eye on things. So I wonder.
I'll do it myself. He's that guy now.
I wonder if we're gonna end up in that situation where Daemon's forced either by Ada or by circumstance to just leave and like help one of them, like how Boruto had to help Konohamaru. And I'd be really interested to see, because at some point these two do have to separate.
That's what I was thinking. Separating them two off first blush sounds like an automatic mistake, because we pretty much already seen how the story ends, especially last chapter. But like, would it be a bad idea for them to like try to have Daemon intercept Momushi before he gets to where Ada is, and have Ada try to relocate? Like, you know, eventually they're going to find out where Ada is. So like once they're headed there, like it could be a plan to just try to thwart them. So that would be ways like kind of separate the two.
I feel like it has to be a situation to where Ada wants him gone, because we know Daemon. He doesn't care unless Ada tells him. He's not going to do anything. So I feel like it would have to be Ada pleading her case to Daemon first. And, you know, what's funny, I love that you said about Ada relocating, because she can fly. And unless I'm mistaking something, Momushi can't fly. What's stopping her from just going a couple thousand feet in the air and just hiding there?
Well, that's a good point. I never even thought about that.
Because unlike Dragon Ball Z, flight is still a rare thing in the Naruto verse.
Yeah.
If you can't fly, you're kind of screwed. So,
but at this level, though, it got to be like the Goku type thing where he couldn't fly, but he could throw himself like thousands of feet in the air. Like,
that would be hilarious.
Gotta be the case.
I would want to see that. She just flies, and then Mamu. Wait, no. Here's the thing: we have a ton of Mamushi clones just making a chain up into the sky.
Oh yeah, that's possible. No, but he could only do so much before he gets stupid. So, or before it overwhelms us. So yeah, we gotta be careful with that. But yeah, either way, that would be a hilarious way to kind of like have Momushi not be able to get to Ada. She just flies in the air. I never thought about that.
And then, you know, it feels like Ada has a ton of escape ways, but Ikamoto just won't tell us why they're not being used. Because what's stopping Boruto from like, you know what? Hang on, Kawaki, tap in for a bit. Hey Ada, I'm gonna send you halfway across the world with my flying Raijin. You know, I'll pick you up later.
Yeah, to mount me a Boku or something like that. Just chill with toads.
I guess it fits though. I guess it fits because Koji did say if they're out of the village and Endura just figures it out, they'll be screwed. So I guess you do need to keep her in the leaf.
Yeah,
but
good point.
So I guess you do have to kind of use her as bait. But if they did want to save her, there's options. It's just would that cause a bad timeline future? That's the question, I guess. I feel like that's what Kishimoto's.
Yeah, we see the one with she in the tree. I think that's the one where she tried to do something to help Kawaki as.
Yeah, I can see it. I feel like that's what Ikamoto's trying to do. Basically, oh yeah, if she tries to escape or if she's out of the village, that's the bad timeline, and just makes it like all explanations just become that where Koji would have said something if it was a good thing. I don't know if that's great writing in my opinion, but it does work to an extent where, yeah, Koji said don't do this, so you just have to go with the assumption that it's a bad future, it's a bad idea.
True, but you could dead all of that by saying Kawaki could activate with Daikokuten and Sukuro. I forgot the exact one, but you know which one I'm talking about. Have them chill with Naruto and Hinata.
100%.
With Naruto and Hinata.
And he could do that, but then the question would be, because if hypothetically Kawaki sealed away everyone's targets, so he sealed away Himawari, Sarada, Konohamaru back when Matsuri was still a thing, and Ada. If he sealed them all, would that make Jura and the others want to do their plan faster, or does having the target slow them down? Because they're not, because the Divine Chiefs aren't gonna wait forever. If they see Kawaki with all their targets and he's not willing to give them up, what's stopping them from devouring him? So I feel like in my mind, it feels like to an extent the targets are helpful because you're basically splitting their attention into other things, and you're saving end the world plan A all the way up to the end. So you're buying time for that.
I get your point. My thing is, I think they'd probably just change their targets, like what Jura did. Again, I know Jura was a specific situation because he was looking for karma, but it'll be like not the first person that came to your mind, the second thing, or the second person that came to your mind as a Shinju. That's your target. So I guess they just shift their target.
I can see it.
I think Jura's still on. He's on Naruto, bro. Naruto is gold.
Oh, he's on both.
He got to be playing something. Yeah, I don't know what Jura playing. He playing something.
Because he was under the assumption Naruto was dead. So he switched fully to Himawari because of Ninetales. But once he realized that Naruto was still alive, he basically put Naruto back as his main target, with Himawari as another target, and then Boruto to be killed. Let's see, where is it?
Basically, he got 3 targets.
So basically, he basically wants every member of the Uzumaki family except Hinata. He wants to devour Naruto and Himawari. He wants to kill Boruto. His end goal is to devour Kawaki. So Hinata's the only odd one out at that point.
Yeah, some Hyuga member or some Otsuka member who wants a Tenseigan to smile.
Let's see, where is it? Oh, here it is. But yeah, Kawaki doesn't have a poker face, so dude figured out Naruto's alive. Sumire heard he's alive, so Sumire now knows 100% Naruto's alive, which I hope she uses eventually.
I ain't gonna lie, she's been holding on to that information for too long.
I'm going on under the assumption that Amado records these things because it would be dumb for a scientist not to. Plus, we saw the recording. We saw him go back with Kawaki. I just realized that, yeah, he does have a recording. Which
it's gonna be like another thing when Boruto was dead, when she found out Boruto died by Kawaki, but everybody finds out in the middle of like a chaotic moment, and like Sarada found out and she just ran off, and it's gonna be something like that. Everybody's gonna find out Naruto's alive, and Subaru's just gonna be there like,
I agree.
And I was just waiting for the right moment.
And it's basically like a get out of jail free card for Boruto indirectly, because if the Leaf ever catches Boruto again, and Kawaki just say, you know what, kill him. There's nothing stopping. They can't do it, but say they caught him off guard again, like last time. Sumire can just show this video. Like, yeah, Naruto's still alive. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a recording of Kawaki sealing Naruto and Hinata. That doesn't have anything to do with omnipotence. So they'll realize that. And then when we go back to the next chapter, we see Amado looking through that recording. So we know, at minimum, there's a ton of recording from Kawaki's day-to-day life just on Amado's computer, which, you know, first of all, that's a bit suspect because he can just watch Kawaki all day, but it works. It works.
Well, Boruto still needs a DP for fleeing the village, so he's going to be punished either way. Well, that's a good point, though.
DP.
He got to get that 31. But that's a good point, though. In a way, like if they let everyone know that Naruto's still alive, like is he really up for any punishments outside of just fleeing the village?
Even fleeing the village doesn't count because he only left because they were trying to kill him and he couldn't prove it. So even that becomes a moot point. It just becomes a situation to where, in their mind, the Hokage's son framed this orphan we still don't trust this orphan, but we know he didn't really do anything wrong. So the bigger issue is finding out why the Hokage's son committed this large crime, why he's committing more crimes, and why he completely upended the shinobi world for the past 3 years.
I think
So he
I think
becomes
a large portion. I think a large portion of the Land of Fire higher ups, even if they find out the truth is Naruto's alive, they would rather keep it where Naruto's dead because he held so much influence for being alive and being so powerful.
yeah,
So
the
like
higher ups.
canonically proven, yeah, they didn't like a lot of the higher ups did not like Naruto.
Yeah, they didn't. They hated him. Like
Yeah.
Konoha aside, because they worship him. The council with the daimyo, they hated him because they hated how much pull Naruto had with the daimyo. That's kind of part of the reason why the daimyo is so erratic right now, because Naruto's gone. Now that his council is just basically pulling the strings.
Back to the old days. Dumbass
Exactly.
elders making the calls and
This
shit.
is crazy. Well, not to jump back and forth real quick, I did want to ask about Damon real quick. Do you think they'll have Damon fight without his reflection powers, or do you think most of the battle will essentially be that?
I
I
think
mean, if
we
it's
will.
automatic, yeah. Oh well, he can turn it off. Actually, you're right. So go
I
ahead,
think
right.
we will, because we've seen him fight without it. We've seen him fight Code. We've seen him fight Boruto and Kawaki. So I feel like we'll get to see what the limits are of his physical abilities, and then see how far he gets pushed first. In my mind, because I feel like we gotta remember Mamushi is, in some twisted sense, Bug, and Damon didn't really have a good opinion of Bug. So I feel like he'd want to try and pummel Bug first, then just use his reflection ability. Kind of like you're too beneath me type issue.
Like what he did to Boruto and Kawaki when they first met. Like,
Yeah, pretty
this is
much.
my ability to whoop y'all ass, bro.
I see what you mean. Well, quick question: will they stay true to the idea that if he's not touching anyone, then he can't reflect anything, or will they just scrap that, like what we saw at first?
I
I
feel
think the
like
palm thing is it just applies to like his physical, like any physical attacks that are making their way towards him. If he's touching someone, he can reflect those. But any initial attempt, like I think that's aside from his palms. Usually, he's
What
reflecting
chapter
attempt
did they bring this up in?
when Amada's
That was
I'm
that
about
was
to say,
probably
look,
like
Risen's on it. Risen's
late
on it. I already
60s.
see where he's going.
I
Yeah,
know.
but Amada explains the difference
Fuck
between his
Horizon.
ability. It's
so.
explained and
Unless
it's
I'm
shown.
wrong, there's two different ways.
Yeah, there's
So when he's
two.
touching someone, he can reflect attacks. But if you have like killing intent, or like the thought of attacking him, that all automatically gets reflected back to you.
Oh,
So if you don't have
yeah,
any
okay.
intent, if you don't have any intent to harm Damon,
Mhm.
just him sitting down shouldn't be able to reflect in my mind, unless I'm just like completely misreading his power, which I hope then we'll see
No,
in the
you're
next
right. So it's
chapter.
like, think about like if you were to throw a physical rock at Demon, right? And he's not looking at you, but he's touching someone. Boom. That's gonna what's the name? That's gonna reflect automatically. Let's say from somewhere else you just throw a physical rock and there's nowhere in the vicinity, and Damon's just by himself. That rock can hit him or he can dodge it. But let's say you looking at Damon and you like he says something that pisses you off and you think I'm gonna kill this nigga and he's just by himself still. That's gonna like go right back at you.
Yeah, but
Does it apply when somebody's like touching the scope? Like when Code brought him through that clawgram. I mean not clawgram, claw mark, and he used him to deflect Kawaki's blast. He wasn't touching Code or anything. Well, okay, so I guess you're leading to like the malicious intent.
yeah, because
That's what right.
Code didn't have any malicious intent, so he was able to pull Damon, and then because Damon was touching Code, he was able to reflect Kawaki's attack. So in my mind, if
Damon wasn't touching Code though, or
No, he was on his shoulder.
Oh, he was
he was
on his
touching
shoulders. Okay, yeah, I was just saying that. Okay,
He didn't even come full. Damon didn't even come fully out. He was only like his torso made.
Yeah, you guys.
So
are,
I'm guessing if Damon's just chilling by himself and you have no intent to harm him, but your body is still moving to harm him, it won't get reflected because you don't have necessarily any intent
Yeah.
But we'll just have to see. But this is what he says. He reflects all attacks, any action that would inflict harm on him, and though he needs to be touching another person to achieve this, his ability will also cause the actions of the person he's touching to be repelled onto them. That's everything on his list of abilities. And then Boruto says, what? Okay, now you lost me. Daemon says, want to test it?
Go back up. Go back up. So, that part.
Daemon is an irritating, pesky brat, but just be careful not to aim murderous intent toward him, no matter what, because that too will be reflected. It depends on certain conditions, but it will rebound back to you. So it seems like he has two separate sub-activations.
So down later, that's when Kawaki tests it out, and Daemon's not touching nobody right here.
Yes, looks like it's legit Boruto, just as you saw. You really imagine clobbering him to death? Something lost in your head, that ain't normal. So yeah, it seems like unless Ikemoto further explains, there's the standard ability where if you launch a Rasengan at him, but he's touching someone, that Rasengan is going to get countered to you. And then there's the other one where, if I'm thinking I'm going to kill you, that's going to get reflected to me. But if I'm not if I don't have any ill will towards you, that's not going to get reflected.
Yeah.
So if hypothetically we have 10 dumb Mamushis who aren't even smart enough to know what they're doing, and they're just operating off instinct, in theory, now this is just a theory, Daemon shouldn't be able to reflect that intent toward them because there is no intent. He would just need to be touching someone to reflect his their physical attacks.
Yep. Exactly that. Which is why he's like, bro, it's like technically Momushi is like the perfect type of counter to him, right? But I still think physically, like, Daemon's gonna be stronger than him. So I'm thinking, hypothetically speaking, theoretically, say me and Ryzen are correct on the two separate abilities for Daemon. How does someone like Jura beat him? Like, you can't.
I feel like if it's a power situation, we just have to see Jura's full power. Kawaki seemed to believe he could game it out. He seemed to believe he could sense the upper limits of Jura's power. So that's the only thing that makes me want to side with you to an extent, because it feels like if we take Kawaki as a valid source and like a valid judge of power, that means he sees the gap, and in his mind, the gap isn't so large that he can't close it with a few power-ups.
Exactly that. And he ain't never decided in these last 3 years to ever think to step the Daemon. So,
and then like here's the little Daemon thing with Code, just to show to everyone where he was pulling him out. Kawaki got blown away. Code, he just pulled Daemon without warning. Where am I? And so Daemon was asleep, and then Code pulled him out, basically.
Yeah.
But then going back to the Kawaki situation, if we go back to chapter, I think 26, check. He seemed to believe the gap wasn't something infinite. He seemed to see a point A and a point B where, yes, I need this amount of power, and I should be able to kill him. That's the only thing. Sorry. That's the only thing that makes me believe that there's a limit to Jura's power, unless he's just completely hiding more power than Kawaki thinks, or he has some transformation. I wouldn't put it past Ikemoto. He does take inspiration from Dragon Ball.
More like an awakening rather than transformation.
Yes.
Like an awakening or a realization.
But Kawaki, basically, Amado says, so not only do they heal wounds, but the trees can also function as powerful weapons and impregnable shields as well. Kawaki says, so what are you saying? That he doesn't have any weaknesses? Amado says, forget weaknesses. It almost makes you think he might be impossible to kill. Kawaki says, he can be taken down. I felt it when I fought him, but not with my current firepower. I need more. So he does believe, in his mind, he is able to sense that Jura does seem to have some type of limit, either regeneration-wise, power-wise, defensive-wise, to where if Kawaki needs a little more, if Kawaki gets a little more power, he can beat Jura, which I feel like me personally, because he's not. Gotta give my Kawaki hate in Jed now. Me personally, I think it's just an excuse to get another fix. But hey, he might be right.
Well, hey, let's remember, he's never made a statement like this about Daemon. That tells you something.
That is
true.
Literally
what's up, Ludi, first of all? But yeah, I literally just said that. Literally.
Yeah, what's going on with y'all?
What's good?
What's good? What y'all talking about?
Yeah,
The
so
fact that Jura may have a limit, but Daemon doesn't.
pretty much.
Jura may
pretty
have
much.
a limit, but Daemon doesn't. Are you talking about his ability?
Based on Kawaki's
Yeah.
dialogue here.
Wait, let me read this. So what are you saying that he doesn't have any weaknesses? Blah blah blah. It only makes you think he might be impossible to kill. I know my current firepower. Okay. Yeah. So can you explain what you mean by that? Just from the scan. Like, what's your
Well,
interpretation of this game?
like Ryzen was saying, based on this, it's possible to kill Jura. He has a set limit of power that Kawaki's approaching. He can feel it. With Daemon, no such statement exists.
Yo, ooh, you have a weird sound.
Is that me? I think that's someone else.
No, somebody's echoing.
I'll mute real quick.
I'm not sure now.
Is there an echo still?
No, I can't really hear anything right now.
Okay. So I guess U's interpretation of the scan is that they find it possible to kill Jura, at least in a possible future, but they don't find it possible to beat Daemon. And I'm assuming that means that Daemon is stronger than Jura from that.
Exactly. No, I
I
don't
mean, we
think
know
so.
that. I mean, we know Daemon's stronger than Jura, but
Exactly.
as far as the argument, I'm not really. I don't think this is like a great argument, but I mean, it's all right.
It's something.
I see. Well, it's essentially stemmed from a question we was asking: what is really about to happen with the Momushi and Jura battle? Because Momushi and Daemon battle, because we're kind of previewing the next chapter. And I was kind of wondering how would his abilities kind of work in this? Would they kind of like stick to the idea of his abilities only working when he's touching someone? So we kind of went into the deep dive into this Daemon specific ability. So we found out that no matter what, I guess you shouldn't aim murderous intent. I forgot where that specific quote was, but it's from a motto. He said, no matter what, you shouldn't aim specific murderous intent. So I'm guessing for this particular arc, Mushi might just not even have murderous intent. So
That's kind of at least how it's explained with Mamushi's abilities. It's kind of difficult to say that because the drawback of creating as many clones as he is that they become more animalistic in nature, which means that the instinctual prowess to murder something or eat something is going to be stronger than his normal self. So I mean, I don't know how that really follows just from how the weakness is explained. If anything, that's probably going to play into Damon's favor.
We didn't talk about this
it
earlier,
depends on
but
how Ikimoto. It depends on how Ikimoto. He's right because if Ikimoto wants to lean on the murderous intent of a wild animal like its natural instinct, then yeah, that's GG's for Momushi. But if it's more so on like a intellectual side, like a lot of us are assuming, but we don't know. But like, yeah, Momushi just getting dumber and he's not thinking, then I guess that could work. But even with that, bro, he's gonna kick his head in like that.
Well, you don't like intent doesn't have to be something that you're thinking, right? Like it doesn't have to be like a thought process before you intend to do something. Like you can instinctually intend to do something, right?
Because like, what would be the split? So does Damon's ability differentiate? Does it differentiate between me personally hating Damon and wanting to kill Damon, or does it or does it also sense a wild animal just has eat, kill in general? It's not targeting Damon specifically. It just wants to attack anything. So would it differentiate, or would it treat them kind of the same when it's trying to?
Well, when I looked at it, when I read the panel, in my sense, I would think. Remember how in the latest chapter of TBV, how Mamushi accidentally sets fire to the village and he's not supposed to do it?
Yes.
So I would think if the fight was to go down that way, I think it's an intellectual thing. Like you have to have the sense of danger, the sense of violence to inflict that upon Damon. But since he replicates himself too many times, that goes out the window, and that's how he's able to harm Damon.
I just think we have to think about it like logically, right? So we've seen many cases of characters that have interacted with Damon's abilities specifically who have failed to interact with it successfully. Characters that we do find to be smart, people that are considered geniuses like Boruto, or people that are extremely strong like Kawaki. I just find it very like unlikely that Mamushi all of a sudden would just be able to overcome Daemon's abilities when no one else has, and there's zero implication that
Exactly.
Mamushi has any sort of ability to do it. The lack of that evidence that obviously should be there, if it was the case that, you know, they were stronger than Daemon, you would expect it, and you know, it would probably be present in that case, and it's just not. And it's even further explained with, like, you know, Damon's interaction with Himawari, right? Like in part one, he sees Himawari's potential. And from that, we see this sort of like worriness about how strong Himawari is and potentially, you know, uh, challenging Damon. And we haven't seen him be, we haven't seen him freak out from seeing any of this, right? He sees Mamushi. He's like, oh shit, Mamushi's like, you know, invading the village. Okay, yeah, I'll protect you, big sis, right? There's no worry about on Damon's face about anything. So it's like, further consistent that like he should be stronger than Mamushi. So I just don't see the argument for like how Mamushi would defeat Damon, like how he
I,
would be stronger
I'm
specifically.
glad you're saying that though, Juju, because keep in mind, a lot of people misunderstand Damon's character. They think he's arrogant. He's not arrogant. The same way Itachi wasn't arrogant when he beat up those three guys. The same way a lot of people who are stronger than someone else and they know it aren't arrogant when they know they're stronger. Madara wasn't being arrogant to the five Kage. So keeping that in mind, he's not going to underestimate his opponent or anything. He's not an arrogant character. He's a very intelligent character. If he's
Yep.
taking this seriously, which we've already seen, he's already demonstrated that he doesn't have to fight Mamushi. His defense is his greatest offense in a way. As long as he's touching Ada, which Mamushi can't stop him from doing that if he decides to do it. If he falls asleep on Ada's lap, she cannot be devoured by Mamushi. There's no way for it to happen. There can be a million Mamushis. It's not going to make a difference.
Well, the way I would explain it, right? Because I know people are very confused about, you know, what happened last chapter, seeing the possible future where Ada dies, and we're like, damn, like Damon is just supposed to be this powerhouse. How is it the case that he was defeated potentially and Ada inevitably died? That makes no sense. And I think the only logical explanation for that is Mamushi using some sort of teleportation with Code's belts and separating Damon and Ada from each other, which allows them to eventually kill Ada, which we have seen, right? Like we've seen
That's gonna
Code
be
be able
the
to
that's
rip
gonna be the
Damon through
key.
the belt and reflect Kawaki's attack in chapter 64. So that's, or not chapter 64, it's like around 64, 65, 66, around the area. So it's definitely possible for him to just maybe grab Damon's foot, slip him into another dimension, separate him from Ada, kill Ada. So I mean, that's maybe the way to beat him. Maybe you could BFR him, right? Like that's maybe the only way. But even
Yeah.
then, like, come on, like
And
it's
Well,
not
we
very
gotta
like.
break out the stupid cool something. But so you don't see any scenario where he essentially gets around the reflection ability.
Are you asking me?
there's
Mamushi?
not one. If he's asleep on Ada's lap, Mamushi cannot touch Ada.
Well, given how the ability is stated to be to function, like even if he's, you know, unconscious, he's asleep, he's off guard, right? Like how Code tested, he tested the hypothesis in Damon's introduction, based on how we understand it to work. Yeah, like how would Mamushi get around it? There's literally no way to do it unless
Wait,
he just speed blitzed him.
who was it that said that Mamushi could get Damon through the claw mark? I want to
Yeah, I
add
said
on to
that.
that point. Okay, so
Yeah.
if we go back to part one, Code was sleeping, and not Code. Damon was sleeping,
Damon.
and Code was able to drag Damon from Ada into the claw mark.
Yep.
So could we see something similar to
Yeah.
where, in an off-guard situation, a sleeping Damon or a Damon who's just sitting on Ada's lap just gets dragged
Yeah.
off to halfway across the village, which
Yeah.
would give Mamushi enough time to devour Ada, and it basically becomes a pick your poison situation. Damon can win the battle, but he lost the war at that point. Once Ada got devoured, it doesn't matter how strong Damon is. It doesn't matter if he can kill Mamushi. Ada's gone. The goal was accomplished. So it could become that type of situation.
Yeah.
Once you separate that character, it becomes a moot point. And
Also, just to add in before Wavy gets in too, this kind of would help Barra's point, because Barra seems like you're on the fence about Damon being above Mamushi. Like maybe there's a little bit of like, yeah, maybe Mamushi could beat Damon. Maybe based on your interpretation of how his ability works, which is that he needs to touch somebody, this will be the way to defeat him. You separate him from anyone else he could possibly touch. You jump him. and you beat him up that way. That's if you interpret the reflection ability to work that, by touching somebody under any
Yeah.
condition of reflecting. I don't know if y'all talked about
What about his like
but
brute force though?
Well, that's another thing.
somebody by the way.
Yeah,
I
someone's
think
mic
Mike was
might got
pregame.
going a little bit.
You know,
But overall, though, I was thinking that I thought some people could probably separate Damon, and because of the mechanic of him not being able to touch anybody, they'd essentially get around the reflection. The idea of them essentially not wanting to kill Damon, I thought is interesting because Amada specifically talked about murderous intent, and if they want to seal Damon, it wouldn't necessarily be murderous intent; it would be something different. So that could be
They
that.
don't only say murderous intent. They just say like because I forgot.
The
They don't
more
say
I'll pull
murderous
it
murderous
it
up.
intent
is, the
I'll pull it
specifically.
up
They
right
stronger.
now.
say
He says
they
the more
like
murderous
so
it
so
is,
what
the
so
stronger.
so the example is like when Kawaki tests this out. He tests this out, right? Like Amato is explaining it to Kawaki and Boruto. He's like, yeah, you're watching Damon and Ada. You need to know these details. So they start breaking down Damon's ability, breaking down the success
Murderous.
conditions of his reflection to actualize. And what
Yeah,
he
the panel on
specifically
screen
says
right
is
now.
like, hmm?
The
Yeah.
panel on screen.
Here's what
He just
Amado
posted the
says.
chapter.
Damon is an irritating, pesky brat, but just be
Mhm.
careful not to aim murderous intent toward him no matter what, because
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
too will be reflected. It depends on
Right.
certain conditions, but it'll all rebound back to you.
Right. And I want you to keep scrolling too. So what I want you to go to specifically is when Kawaki, because you see Kawaki, he's like, all right, let me test this, right? He tested and then he says specifically the only thing that he thought of was clobbering Damon, right? So he wasn't thinking about murdering Damon or killing Damon necessarily, because if that was the case, he
Oh,
would have killed himself, right? He literally would have died. It
Yeah.
had to only be the case that he was thinking about harming Damon, which the definition of clobbering literally means to harm somebody really badly. If Mamushi just thinks about punching Damon in the face, he's still gonna get punched back in the face. Like it's not gonna stop the
Yeah.
reflection from not working. So
Does Kawaki say only clobber? Because Boruto said clobber him to death. Well, if Kawaki says he was only trying to clobber, Boruto might just be sensationalizing.
what chapter is
Nah,
it?
because if you,
chapter
bro,
25.
look at the introduction when Damon first comes in and he's beating up those guards and he's walking down and he's pointing at that one guard. He reaches
yep,
for his sword and instantly
yep,
instantly his head
Yeah.
falls off. So that tells us
yep,
he's thinking like, "Yo, I'm
yep.
gonna cut this little nigga head off." And what
Exactly.
happens? His head gets cut off.
No,
Yep.
Kawaki didn't literally imagine himself killing Damon because he would have died.
Yeah,
And
he
he's
would have
Exactly. That's
died.
what
testing
I'm
the
Yeah,
saying.
ability. He
Here it
wouldn't
is.
test it with that extent. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Right.
so
That's
here
what
it
I'm
is.
saying. That's why he tests. So the only test there is just testing whether or not the reflection is going to work, irregardless of the murderous intent, which it does. Therefore, even if Mamushi didn't have murderous intent, still can't be Damon hypothetically. So
So
when
this
I
I
is
see
like
that.
back to what you were saying earlier, when Cole was doing his little hypothesis, he wasn't even it was just on some scientific experiment and that was getting reflected, bro. So
Mm,
it don't
yep.
have to even be like harmful intent. It's just getting reflected
Facts.
regardless.
so this is
I
what
see what you mean.
Ada says when he kills the guard. The stronger the intent to kill, the more powerful the reaction. A foe simply picturing the killing scene will cause the end result to be instantaneously reflected upon him or her. So you be careful too, Code. Guard tried to cut him with a sword, and then he got his head lopped off before he could finish drawing out his sword.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Damon's
crazy.
just busted, bro. You can't. It's hard to argue against Damon unless you're using like a full power juror or some crazy shit.
I think
No,
the
yeah,
whole
for
point the
to
whole
be
point
honest,
of
my
Momushi.
personal opinions on Damon, I think he's still one of the strongest characters. He'd still murder Mamushi. My only thing is, would Mamushi be able to like distract Damon in a way to where they could actually get to Ada? My
Mm.
next idea would essentially be the Mamushi's pain tolerance essentially go down the more clones they actually produce. It could be a certain situation where the attacks are being reflected on Mamushi, but because they don't feel any pain, they can still in a way get to Damon and try to seal him that way.
Oh, well, we still remember we were talking about the last pod. Like, are we interpreting it as like he's dulling his senses to pain, or his pain sensitivity is like increasing when
It's
he's feeling more
very
pain?
unclear. We'll just have to wait and see,
Yeah,
honestly. The
I
way
You
haven't
know,
seen.
because
I
because
like. I
because
haven't
if it
seen all of the
because if you
transitions that talk about it.
because if you think about it, if it's dulling his pain, like he doesn't feel more pain the more he creates, that's like it works towards his advantage and against like these random, like the Chocho levels, and I'm sorry, the Shikadai levels, ninjas. Like, if he's not feeling any pain, what are y'all doing on the battlefield? But if he feels more sensitivity to pain, kind of like Blackbeard from One Piece, then it makes sense why all of these ninjas are being deployed.
You know,
Mm.
I always think that
Also, him
Damon.
having higher pain tolerance wouldn't mean that he doesn't get injured. Like if he tries to like chop off Damon's head and it gets reflected, he's just gonna die, right? So
Yeah.
No, I
also
get that.
also
But
if Damon is strong enough, he can just do it. I'm pretty sure what Boruto said was that he has to aim for the eyes. He has to destroy the eyes, which I
yeah,
mean
that's what I
Damon
was gonna
could
say.
do that. So
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, for example, if they try to attack Damon in a way that doesn't really destroy his eyes, the Mamushis are still going to be fine. But my thing would be the best way that they could probably get to him is like the way the claw grimes used to work, where they weren't necessarily like the strongest, but they essentially got to Sasuke before Code could, because Code wanted to kill him. So they could be slippery in a way where they could get to the target without actually having to attack that much.
Nah, I ain't giving that W to
I
Code.
think I
Code
think
should have been
Damon.
strong enough to kill Sasuke, bro. He folded, bro. The Claw saved him in that W in that fight.
Oh no, man! The claw
yeah,
grimes
we
had
we also we also
had their
don't
own
know if
agenda.
like the Claw Grimes were the only ones fighting Code because we see Code running towards Sasuke as if he wanted to beat him up. So it's kind of clear that he was also like involved in it. So I
Nah,
wouldn't
he
attribute
told
that to the Claw
Sasuke to his
Grimes.
face, "I'm about to kill you."
I got a
He
question.
did
Yeah.
not kill him.
I got a
I
question
get.
for you.
I guess a better example, because I do agree with what you're saying. A better example is like chapter 1 and 2 when in TBV when we see like fucking Sarada almost died of one.
And
Yeah.
Like
Kawaki gets slept
she's
all one.
clearly stronger than them, but if she gets caught off guard, then yeah, it can like eat her in the fucking head or whatever. So yeah.
I got a question for you. So there's a conversation between Code and Ada, and when they were talking about Damon's abilities, and he tells Ada, "Don't tell me you got other abilities that you haven't demonstrated yet." Could that possibly like show that Damon has more to his bag than we know of for
Of
now?
course, of
I
course.
think
He
so.
said
Yeah.
he tells Boruto that he's never went all out, and that he wants Boruto to get strong enough to the point where it pushes him to go all out. So
I
clearly,
think
he
he
has
has at
more
least
things in
one
the
more
bag.
ability. At least one more. At least.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
because I
should be
mean,
training with
if
him
you
a
look
lot.
at Ada kind of have like she has multiple variations of an ability. With Damon, we only know that he has like one specific ability, so they're definitely going to give him something else. Like they have to.
Yeah, because Ada says that that would be interesting. She doesn't deny it, nor does she agree, but she just highlights something. That's why Damon says he doesn't mind telling him, but his sister said he couldn't.
Yeah. That's true.
So let
I
me
think it's at
present
least
something.
one. It might be related to his eyes. But go ahead.
So I got a question of why something wouldn't be the case when it probably should be, and I wonder if this is an oversight. Let's say Ada does get devoured, but she's still alive. She's not dead yet, just like Sasuke, who's still alive. If Daemon touches the tree, why wouldn't Ada just be freed?
Because she's already a tree.
Are you implementing that she was already a tree, like a Shinju already at that point, or?
So we know that the reason that Code made the claw grimes wasn't to get around Daemon's reflection, the negative intent that implies that they would obviously still be affected by the intent. They clearly have intent based on that. So because they're used to teleport away, that's the reason that Code even made the claw grimes in the first place. With that in mind, that means again they should be reflected in their intent. They're still alive when they're the tree. I mean, they are the clawgrams. They're the divine tree itself, just split apart. If you want to say 10 tails, whatever. They latch onto the target. They're still alive. So they're continuing to siphon the chakra or whatever they're doing from Ada and all the victims in the tree. I'm assuming that intent should just be continuous. So why, when Daemon touches Ada, would it not just automatically have the divine tree devour itself? It's basically going to Kisame itself. Why wouldn't that be the case?
I get where you come. I don't know if that's the case though. Like for example, you said if Damon falls asleep on Ada example, I don't know if it's the case that they just can't place her inside of a tree, because that wouldn't necessarily be an attack, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
she's already
the
encased in the
major
tree, but
thing
I
that
know.
you're loading in there is saying that the tree continues to have intent after it's already devoured Ada. I mean, the intent has already been actualized. Like it's not really relevant anymore.
It's continuing to hold on to the person, though.
I think it's more
Especially in the
nostalgia.
war arc.
Yeah,
we see that.
but that's just the action that follows from the intent. The intent has already been followed upon. Like that's not. It doesn't make. It's like if I eat you, right? Like if a tiger eats you and devours you and turns you into bones. Yeah, that's technically you, but it's not. You can't say that the intention of eating you has necessarily not been followed upon. Like those are two different things.
I think the intent continues through the present moment rather than beforehand.
Yeah, yeah, but that's just an assumption. We don't really know that, right? Like, Kishimoto could obviously make it the case that it's not like that, so it wouldn't be affected by that, right? Like it's all fiction. These things can change, so it's like I'm not gonna assume that it's the same. Because that would be a really shitty way of writing. I'm not gonna lie. It'd be very bad writing.
That's why
the
it's
only
never
reason
gonna
I
happen.
disagree. If it wasn't bad writing, I'd be like, yeah, but that's just like, oh, he could just touch a tree. Like, why isn't he just going around touching trees then and just reflect? Why are they doing all this bullshit?
Yeah,
If he can
good
just
point.
go
Yeah,
around
but
reflecting
Juju,
people
but
with his
Juju,
it makes no
it's-
sense.
It's already a
It's dumb.
problem because Daemon exists. Why isn't Daemon going around and killing Jura every time he invades the Hidden Leaf Village?
I don't know why. Maybe he just
Exactly.
doesn't-
It's
I don't know.
already
It doesn't make sense.
unexplained.
It
He
doesn't make
can't
sense.
fly.
Maybe he
So
just
then
doesn't care
Jura
about
fly
Jura,
away,
bro.
bro.
It basically
Exactly.
it basically becomes a thing where we either have the choice of taking what we've been given off face value or believing there's more nuance. Because if we just take Koji off face value, for some reason, and it doesn't have to be power wise, even with Daemon, they don't have 1,000,000 in a chance of winning. So it just becomes a nuanced situation where either something happens that causes Daemon to be put out of the chessboard, and it has to happen regardless of his strength, or there's just some type of nuance where Jura can either outpower him or outmaneuver him. It just becomes a
That's
pick your
not
poison
true.
situation.
That's not true. There's the third possibility that it's just going to continue being what it's been doing, to where Daemon's just not going to involve himself.
I mean, based on the latest chapter of how everything unfolds, I don't believe, like, I think something's gonna give. Like, I believe either Ada's most definitely gonna become a tree, but Himawari won't die. Like, something has to give.
Yeah, I think they'll break even on that situation because Boruto's been winning too much, and you have to kind of justify the other side to an extent, especially Kawaki, because in hindsight, a lot of ninjas did die, but we don't care about NPC ninjas. So in my mind, we only lost Yodo. So you do kind of justify Kawaki indirectly in that because we did lose a couple dozen Jonin just off their initial invasion. But we do need to see the main squad lose. We need to see Boruto himself get humbled. We need to see what happens when a divine tree devours their target.
Did he not get humbled by Jura?
Wait, repeat what you said. I didn't hear you.
Did he not get humbled by Jura?
He did, but he's still alive. That's the situation. He got his cake and
Well, he has to be allowed to be humbled, right? Because if he's not alive, he doesn't learn.
Nah, but they're not pulling up like the Akatsuki though. Like they didn't take the lives of like I forgot Shikamaru Sensei's name, but they're not
Asuma
dragging. Yeah, they're not.
Konohama was supposed to die.
Yeah,
and
and he saved his master.
Timeline.
Like Boruto knew he was never gonna beat Jura, so that's a net win for him. He was able to save his master and leave with his life, with there only being one death, which was Yodo.
I give Matsuri that
double. But at the same token, it's hard when Kashin Koji says, "I never know if my choice was correct or not until I see the outcome." That's why he only relays what he believes is vital to people until he sees the outcome. Like, I don't know if the apple's gonna fall, how far it's gonna fall from the tree until it happens. So Ada turning into a tree and him seeing Himawari die, one of them has to give. Obviously, Himawari won't die.
I agree with you.
Will become a tree.
Plus, think about it this way: what was the pivotal point with Ada and Koji in the last arc? He was using Ada to get live footage, basically, or live intel of what was going on, so he could better maneuver. If you lose Ada, that's a big debuff to Team Boruto because now you lose her clairvoyance. And you basically have not Amado, my words. You basically have Koji flying into the dark to an extent, where he has to believe a decision that he made will turn out for the best, which could potentially further antagonize him to Boruto, who has already stated multiple times where he's not going to go as far as Koji. If he's told Iruka Sensei needs to die for some reason to get a good future, Boruto's going to say no. I'm not gonna risk Aruka Sensei's life. I'm gonna go save him regardless of what's gonna happen next.
And that's exactly what happens when he goes and interferes. Caution Koji's his timeline changes, and he's like, he didn't even foresee this happening because something changed. Boruto did something to change it.
Yeah.
See, the problem, Ryzen, with saying that we need a major death, in Naruto Part 1, we had one major death in Hiruzen. In Shippuden, we had 3. There was Asuma, there was Neji, and there was Jiraiya. In Boruto Part 1, we had 0. 0 major characters died. You can say Mugino, but then I would just say that's the Yodo equivalent.
Man, chill. Onoki
Wait.
died. Chill.
So are you implying?
Okay, in the manga.
Are we
Are
using
you-
the an-
are-
Oh, I thought we
are
were using the
you-
anime. If
are
we're
you
using manga, yeah,
implying-
there have been none.
Are you implying that Himawari should die?
In Boruto Part 1, there was 0
Himawari's
major
not gonna
deaths,
die.
but the stakes were higher than ever before because of Ishiki. So there don't need to be stakes to progress any sort of development in this sort of regard. They can do other things. I mean, Boruto's arguably more developed than Naruto ever was. And again, Boruto Part 1 had no major deaths.
I don't know, man.
the thing
Kagura
becomes, though,
died.
But the thing it becomes like, if we go back to Shippuden, if we go back to Naruto, for the past how many ever chapters in Naruto, we've been hearing about, oh yeah, there's 10 Tails. We can't let 10 Tails revive. If 10 Tails revived, we're screwed. So imagine going through Naruto but never getting 10 Tails. They wrote it in a way where not every Jinchuriki died, but we still got 10 Tails. So we've been hearing that, oh yeah, the Divine Trees want to devour a target. And they've been saying it since they've been introduced. Wouldn't it kind of feel weird if we never get to see the validation of at least one Divine Tree from getting their target? Because we know
that's the same with Naruto. We've
Nah,
seen outcomes.
because it's like we see Ada in the tree. She just won't
That's
be a
not
tree.
true. No, we don't need to see the bad guys win in order to understand what that would look like. If the bad guy wants to blow up the world, obviously we're not going to see that because the bad guy's never going to get that because then the story's just over. Same with Orochimaru destroying the Leaf Village. Same with the Akatsuki doing a whole bunch of different things. Like, they don't have to win for us to understand the stakes that are there because of the potential of what they want to do and that they will do it if the good guys don't stop them.
I mean, we've
Yeah. Basically, what Ood is saying is like, irregardless of the thing being actualized, as long as they have the intent to follow through with what they're trying to do, and the heroes stop them from doing it, that's the only thing that matters. That's all we care about. We don't care. It doesn't have to, like, obviously we love things like the Pain arc, right? How like Pain flies in the sky and he destroys the village, and it's like, damn, Naruto actually has to show up and do some amazing shit. Like, yeah, that's cool as far as story progression, but you don't need those things in order to progress the plot. There's obviously other ways, which we've seen in Boruto. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely, I agree with him there. So.
Also, if I were to make a prediction, I think Two Blue Vortex is going to have one major death, that being Koji. I don't think it's going to be Ada or Daemon or anything like that. I think it's going to be Koji.
I was about to say, y'all not looking at the bigger picture. Koji is about to die this arc, not Ada or Himawari.
Exactly.
Nah, Koji's not dying, brother.
Listen, them losing Koji will be a big hit to Boruto because they use Koji's, timeline to be able to predict certain outcomes. So losing Koji would be a big hit for Team Boruto.
Yeah,
that's
for
the
the whole
point.
team. It's bigger
That's
than
the
losing
ramifications.
Ada.
That's the ramifications everybody wants. Because if you think about it like this: if we kill off Ada, right, aside from the fan base and aside from a select few within the village, right, disregarding everybody's in love with her because of her ability. I'm talking like historically, like people who genuinely care about this girl. It is a select few, so I don't think that's that big of a deal. Like, we can go on to the story like, yeah, Ada's dead, all sucks. We can't spy on anybody no more. But if we lose Koji, right, we give Koji, like, let's say Koji sacrifices himself and gives one last directive to Boruto, and it's like, okay, if you follow this plan, everything will work. But I'm not gonna be here no more to tell you any changes that may occur. So stick to this plan. And he just has no choice but to trust him with the information he gives him, on whether it be his dying bed or before he decides to make a final sacrifice, because he sees maybe in the 10, let's say in the 10 futures that he sees when he gets an update, in 7 of them, when he makes this sacrifice, everything works out. But in 3 of them, he makes the sacrifice, things still don't work out, but he has no choice but to trust that Boruto may take one of those 7 routes or vice versa, so. I think it's a lot of ramifications that could come from that. Because if we still stick with this, because think about it real quick. If Koji stays alive, we're going to continue getting what if scenarios and what if power ups. People are still going to be like, oh, next arc, dang, Konohamaru, Sarada, and Shikamaru died in this future. Boom, the end of the arc we prevented from happening. It's just going to be a continuous cycle because Koji's there.
I mean, Koji says in the last chapter, I think you'd agree that we ought to at least change any future where Ada and Himawari die. So I mean, you can implement that. If he wants, he needs to change any future where that's possible, and the only way that he can do it is how he sees fit. So he could sacrifice his life in order for that to happen.
I think they already have started changing those futures, by the way. In fact, they might have already changed all the futures. Koji could even be lying to Inojin right now. What we see in this latest chapter with Himawari and Ada dead, my personal theory, and I was talking to Ryzen about this, I'm curious what y'all think about this. I think when he's saying Himawari dead, he's viewing a memory or a future that's already been snuffed out because it already happened in the past. He's viewing chapter 11. If Inojin didn't act there, Himawari is outside of the village, Jura's just going to kill Himawari. And similarly with Ada, I think that's a future that's already not come to pass as well. I think that's a future to where Daemon never got revived. So I don't even know if it is possible for Ada to be in that situation going forward with the current timeline.
I've been saying this could be a whole training arc, to be honest. Like, this could be a training arc for the next arc when Otsutsuki.
I'm not gonna lie, I think that's a good theory.
Koji dying will set the real tone for Team Boruto having to act without their greatest tool, being able to see different outcomes and knowing that whatever move they make, knowing that they can't predict the future or see the future of how it would turn out, that's their last move. So they have to play very careful.
Yeah,
so
I mean, they might have potential, but Koji's been actually using his potential. Koji's been the one who's been useful, not really Ada.
Yeah,
Same with
so
Ada.
I think Ada definitely has been sort of useful, at least in the recent chapters for sure.
Ada's been useful, but I'm comparing the two. So I'm not saying Ada's not been useful. I'm saying in comparison,
You're saying he's more
the most useful.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
I think with the recent chapters, what Shikamaru is trying to do, at least from his envision, is like bringing these two things together, like trying to create the ultimate team. And I think when you look at their team, they have all of the components of like sort of overcoming Momushi. So that's why I kind of lean back to your theory that the future that we're seeing isn't something that's being shown right now. It's already a future that's that corresponds and correlates to the things that we saw earlier on in Boruto TBV. So yeah, like you said, if Daemon wasn't revived, blah blah blah, I think that makes sense.
If Himawari dies, I wouldn't mind, so that way we can see a bald Inojin. I really wouldn't mind it because Boruto literally says, "I'll shave your fucking head." I really wouldn't mind.
And then I guess it just becomes a thing that if and when Koji dies, what specifically did he warn Boruto about, or what multiple things did he warn Boruto about? Because we can kind of go back to chapter 1 of just Boruto and then have Boruto allude to this could have been a Koji situation where he says, I guess this was the only possible outcome. So it could have, for all intents and purposes, been something that he was fighting against, but then he finally saw Koji's logic to where whatever led to this battle, whatever reason why this battle's happening, it has to happen.
So I'll be honest, Ryzen, with that, is this the only possible way this could have gone down or whatever he says? Whereas that's cool for him to be speaking literally about an event, that's just an extra layer on top that's only adding. I do think in a way, it takes away if he's not just talking about it like poetically and like dramatically with Kawaki. So I'd rather it not be in reference to future timeline.
I agree. I'm with you. I like the more poetic way where it's just there. If it's a Koji situation, it kind of becomes I'm trying to run from destiny, and I'm trying to dodge destiny, but destiny just came right at me.
It feels like, in a way, it takes away the tragedy of it, and he's just talking more like logically in a way, like, oh yeah, it's crazy that it went down this way, huh?
Yeah, I was told it was gonna happen, and I didn't want to believe it, but we're here, the village is destroyed. You said the exact same sentence Koji hypothetically told me you were gonna say. So I guess I have to fight you now.
I have a question. Do you guys think if Ada does become a Shinju, do you think she can use her omnipotence to a good degree? And if so, who would she fight? Because I really think she'll fight Sarada.
I feel like if she does become
She
a
would
Shinju,
she would destroy Sarada if that happened. Like I
Yeah.
would feel
But
so
then
bad for
again,
Sarada.
no, because
Jesus.
Sarada can whip out her MS. We get to see something different from her. We have yet to see her Susanoo. We have yet to see a lot of things that she could do. But I'm more curious about Ada's ability as a tree. Could she use her omnipotence at
I
a
feel like
really well degree?
I feel like it would just have to depend on how that transfers over because we know Kekkei Genkais aren't all the same. At least, I'm not saying the
Yo,
Shinjutsu
y'all
is a
hear me?
Kekkei Genkai, but in
Yeah.
Hidari's case, he didn't inherit the Sharingan, which is a dojutsu. In Ryu's case, because he's inheriting Shinki's chakra, he was able to use Shinki's Kekkei Genkai. So it would just have to depend on would that hypothetical Shinju have omnipotence ingrained in her chakra, or would it be something else that only the real Ada has? Like, oh, maybe it's tied to her Senragon, maybe it's tied to her DNA now. So I feel like it has to be. It would have to depend on how the power transfers to the Shinju because it doesn't seem to be an exact
Mhm.
one-to-one transfer if we use Hidari as an example.
Yeah, I don't think a Shinju Ada would have omnipotence. I think that's just way too OP because at
Yeah,
that
it's
point
way too OP.
she could just remove the concept of chakra itself
Yeah. Yeah,
for
she
the
could do
opponent to be
anything,
fighting.
bro. She could do anything she desires, basically. Anything she wants to bring to reality, she can do, bro. So I mean, I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
she could also take things away from reality. Oh, she's
Yes,
fighting
bro.
Sarada. Let me just use omnipotence. Hey, Sarada, you don't exist anymore.
Yeah, like, bro, it's just too broken, bro.
The,
Like, come on.
the reason why I say like she might fight because she does say like, hey, if anybody was to kill me, it was Suri and Sarada. Yeah, like y'all can kill me. So I feel like that would highlight
Mhm.
a potential fight for like a Ada, Shinju Ada. Like she would have to fight Sarada. Like
I feel like it works. It works, but you have to limit that Ada Shinju by
Yeah.
just like either locking omnipotence away or
Hmm.
heavily limiting it. Because
Right.
if you argue that she can use omnipotence now, and because of the the divine tree's unique composition, she does have more control because she is kind of closer to an Otsutsuki. It just becomes a situation like what you guys said. Yeah, she can just snap her fingers, and reality got rewritten to where Ada's to where Sarada's not even a shinobi anymore, or Sarada
Right.
doesn't even have a Sharingan anymore. So it works, but you have to heavily limit omnipotence. Once
Yeah,
once
there.
that omnipotence box is open, it'll be really hard to close in this stage in this stage of the series, basically.
Mhm.
My
Yeah,
opinion.
there's also like a separate alternative where like they just make Sarada insanely overpowered and she can just
Can y'all
overcome
hear
it
me?
by some
We
magical
hear you now.
mythical way, which would be
Can
insane
y'all hear
because
me?
I mean,
I'm pretty sure we all love Sarada, so it's like that would be badass too.
Her MS is already broken, putting black holes and basically one tapping Ryu. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised she does
Now
that.
watch this. She
I
gets her
mean,
second.
her destiny is to be the
Yo,
Hokage, and we all know what it means to be the Hokage. And I mean, like
Yeah.
she is going to have to be either comparable to people like Boruto or even arguably stronger than people like Boruto and Kawaki to, put them in their place. Especially someone like Kawaki, who you obviously have to have some sort of control over, and potentially, Momoshiki if he pops up in Boruto's body. That's kind of like her destiny. So like narratively, it makes it sort of consistent that she would be stronger than him. And I mean, that's really the only way I could think that they could write in the story
yo,
of
y'all
her
can hear me?
overcoming something like that. So
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but Freakin', what do you think?
The shutdown. So
What happened?
I had to,
what?
I had to shut down because my mic wasn't working.
Yeah. But we can hear you now. So
Yeah,
you
I
wanted to
know.
give your input.
Y'all can
No,
hear me though?
no,
No.
so
Yeah, we hear you
Yeah,
too,
we
Black
can hear you,
Uchiha.
Black Uchiha. I know
Oh,
you
I
want
can't
to
because I
get
can't
game
hear
on this
you.
Sarada shit, bro. Please, bro. Please say
That's why I'm
something.
like I'm here tweaking out. Like, what's I can't hear.
Sarda's my love. So Black Lucia, please show love on this Sarda, bro.
Well, I guess I'll ask this question. If you guys had to write in a weakness for omnipotence, what would it be? And would you use a weakness that's already been in the series before? For example, the Mangekyo Sharingan, you can use it a limited number of times and you go blind. For Shisui, his Koto Matsukami, there was a cooldown on it. It was like 3 days for him and like 10 years for Danzo or something ridiculous. Would you have it be
Yeah.
like similar to like the red pill for Choji, to where if he takes it, he's gonna die? So what weakness would you write in for omnipotence?
I was gonna say chakra, but it's already out since Ada already used it. Yeah,
Well, yeah, that's
I
another one.
want to
No, that's a
say, I
fair
want
one
to say,
because
like,
Sasuke Chidori, he can only use it 3 times a day in part
is
1.
this
That's another
is this
weakness.
specifically under the condition that Sarada is the one mainly fighting against like someone like Ada?
I don't think that happened either way. Well, first things first, if Ada becomes a Shinju, would she have access to omnipotence? Because would she be an Otsuki?
That's what they're saying. Hypothetically, she
Yeah,
does, and then
she
if she
has.
does, what would be the
Yeah.
way to get around it?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, no, it'd be cooked. It'd be over.
It would probably be something similar to Attack on Titan, the final season. So kind of spoilers if you've seen it, but if the founding Titan power is like the most OP power of all time, but you can't use it unless you're touching someone of royal blood. So it could be similar for Ada. It arguably already is with that case, but that could be something that they do.
Yeah.
I would give her the Kodo Matsukami treatment, bro. I'm sorry. Anything.
Yeah, like I think the only weakness is
just
if
do it,
they
bro.
wrote in some insanely overpowered genjutsu where like Sarada could literally rewrite reality or some crazy shit.
If that's
Like,
the
that's
case,
literally the only way.
if
Yeah,
that's the
because right
case,
now,
you gotta give Sarada the she doesn't go blind treatment. If you're gonna give her that treatment, you gotta
Like,
give Sarada.
what if she just puts like Ada in an insanely overpowered genjutsu and just like controls her desire, similar to like how, I don't know, like an MS would control a Jinchuriki of some sort. Like, I don't know, maybe if she did something like that, I don't know. That's the only way I could think of that makes sense for Sarada.
I can't see it. We too deep into it for
But yeah, she is just too. That wouldn't make sense because like Ada's just insanely overpowered. So it's like I can't think of a reasonable way that would fit with that sort of description.
You could
like,
also have
what
more
if
people
she,
immune
hypothetically
like,
that.
to
what if-
whatever omnipotence.
Like, what if she damn, y'all keep on making me forget my train of thought. Hold on, give me a second. All right, refresh my memory.
We're talking about
He was asking you about what a potential weakness would be of omnipotence.
If Ada were to become a Shinju and fight Sarada and Sumire. And I think a potential answer could also be Sarada and Sumire would continue to be immune because Ada in the tree wants them to be immune. Essentially, the tree person fighting against their own Shinju in a sense. Could be really
I think
cool.
that makes sense. That's consistent with like Matsuri. Like maybe they could use their emotions against the Shinju. Yeah, maybe that could be a weakness. Yeah.
I think that
I can see that.
dramatically the best one.
Wild question. Do you guys think that if Ada so happens to get devoured, do you think that she'll backdoor Amado? I mean not Amado, Jura.
Okay. So
I
give
think
her the
Kadari
Hidari
low-key
narrative.
plotting to do that already, boy. I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry, I could probably bet that, but no, Ada probably wouldn't though. It just seemed it don't seem like she's the type to backstab her leader. Like Amato's still alive.
I feel like it just depends on the fact that the divine trees do have emotions. So a divine tree Ada would be tied to Kawaki the most. So if that Ada inherits, if that divine tree inherits Ada's like obsession or like deep love for Kawaki, would it be enough to go against the hive mind that is Jura? Because Jura seemed to allude that the divine trees are susceptible to emotions, and emotions could be potentially their downfall. So I feel like it would just depend on how strong that emotion is.
And Konohamaru. It might just mirror Matsuri and Konohamaru.
Plus, if Ada becomes a Shinju, she'll probably know where Koji is from the moment she's born.
Yeah, if she gets the fucking clairvoyance, it's over, bro. It's just,
nah, she's not getting the Sharingan. It's over. Just like how Sasuke did the Sharingan. Yeah, she can't get the Sharingan.
Well, let's say she doesn't have Senrigan. She might just be able to use her memories to remember where he is.
Because she are
Yeah, because they do have a vague sense of self. If she just remembers Orochimaru's hideouts, that's a clue right there.
Yeah.
Like if she just remembers hideouts, and they can go
be a good
crazy
way
from
to get
there. Like
those.
they can either run down
y'all just
Orochimaru.
writing in some bogus stuff. She can't become a Shinju. He just can't do it. If he does
I know.
there's no way to make it make sense. It's just cooked, bro. It's cooked.
It would be a good opportunity to get an Ada backstory, though. I will say that. Similar to how we got a Moegi backstory for the most part through Matsuri.
Yeah. But overall,
and Kawaki.
I just find it very, I find it very creepy that Mamushi is able to creep up on Ada.
Yeah, true. But,
Like,
but overall, I don't think
Do
Ada's
y'all
gonna
think
die.
that's because he has like some sort of
Nah, she's
ocular
not.
ability?
Ada's
Because I
here to
saw some
stay.
people theorizing that, or do y'all think that's because specifically he has this emotional connection with Ada? Like, what do you think he did there?
I
I
think
don't.
wasn't it like Ada invading in their mind space, so he like kind of like hacked it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
but
like he hacked her
like,
brain or some weird shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
like, how did he hack it? Like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I
Well,
guess
I
just
wouldn't
the
say.
ninjas, and like those beings, you can say that they have like abnormal, um, abnormal abilities where they can like do things that other ninjas can do. So like they're like thousands of years above them.
and like
Not by age, but like by knowledge.
and it did seem like they each had to an extent a special ability. So that could just be one of Mamushi's own, just one of many special abilities, to where he seems to have a connection to when Ada uses her center gun to live view Mamushi. Because
Can I
correct
also
me if
ask
I'm
a
wrong.
separate question?
Yeah,
Mm.
Um, why do y'all think it's the case that the weakness is specifically going for his eyes? Do y'all think that implies that the eyes grant some sort of like power to Mamushi that makes him strong? Or do y'all think that's because of some separate reason?
It was
I think
stated because of the separation, right? That he can split himself from his eyes.
yeah, I think it's
That's
just
sort
an
of
eye ability. It's like how Sasuke lost
so it's ocular ability.
his Uber by getting his Renegon destroyed. It's just an eye. It's just an eye situation to where the ability is in those eyes. So kind of like
Mm-hmm.
how Hidari was able to spawn claw marks within his field of vision.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm remembering right, correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm guessing it's just those are just eye abilities they have in general to where you have to destroy the eye to get rid of the ability. Correct me if I'm wrong. Matsuri had the ability to hear what the root system under the earth was saying. I'm a bit fuzzy on that.
Yeah, she says
Matsu's
like the
trees.
trees were talking as if she could communicate with them. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that would be her unique ability to where she could communicate with trees.
I think it's probably similar to the claw grime, to where they keep saying every time they kill a claw grime, and then more come out of the dead claw grime. It doesn't even matter if you kill him; you got to destroy the body because otherwise more can just come on out. It's almost pointless to keep fighting like that.
Yeah, true.
Mm.
But my
Okay.
thing is, like, hypothetically, if she does get devoured, and say Ada gets devoured, do we see her dying, or
Nah,
she's just coming back ASAP?
he'll come back if
Yeah.
he gets devoured. I think so.
Unfortunately.
You don't
I
like
think
Ada's character?
unfortunate.
It's not that I don't like Ada. I just want to see more of her action wise. Like Damon got more hands on in screen than Ada. All she does
Yeah.
is sit back and spy on people for the most part.
Yeah, basically he wants to see Ada throw hands, and if she's a
Like,
Shinju, she's probably gonna be throwing hands for sure. Like
I
that's
wouldn't
simple.
mind the story of Ada turning into a tree because I'm on that wave of she did tell Sarada and Sumire like, hey, just kill me. And like I really want to see that be very much explored, but I don't know. I just want to see Ada fight. She just sits back and just spies on people. Like that's just so invasive.
You would need a really big reason to write it in, but I think a really cool way to get to the Ada tree situation would be if Ada herself chose it, not as a sacrifice, but her willingly wanting to do it for whatever reason.
I was pondering on that idea. Like let's say Ada does become a tree, right? Like you see it. Remember when Hidari was introduced and we saw like how he was against Sarada? Like I wouldn't be so far fetched if Ada just backdoored Jura at all. I would love to see that. Like it's so cool to see because like
Bro, I'm crying.
Hidari was looking at Sarada, and I'm like, who's to say? Let's say Shinju Ada does become a thing, right? What if she sees Daemon? Who's to say she's gonna harm Daemon?
Nah,
Low-key, it could be a strategy they employ. Like if Ada somehow knows her Shinju self will just have her consciousness and she just pretends to play along, she can do basically whatever she wants. Like Jura's gonna think she's a good guy on Jura's side, and then she could just take out all the Shinju. Basically double agent like Itachi and the Akatsuki.
But I'm pretty sure can't Jura like connect to her thoughts?
Was what was the Matsuri crying explanation with Jura
I
that he
think
was saying it,
let me
or
go to the chapter, but I think he was able
Yeah.
to sense her emotions and also see through her eyes. Let me just double check.
I really would love that theory of her backdooring the whole Shinju. I think that would be so cool.
I just don't find it likely that like anybody would backdoor big daddy Jura, bro. Like, cause bro, hey, they say he is the strongest for. They say he is the best for a reason. There is a reason that he's pointed out. I just don't find it very likely that one of these people are just gonna be able to just backdoor him like that easily. Like Jura, he's not dumb. They got smart too, bro. Like I know he's a baby, he's a freshling, but hey, bro, he's not gonna get caught lacking, bro. Trust.
the
My thing
thing
is,
is, go ahead, Bar.
no, I was about to say they could try to do something to the divine tree. I know they themselves are divine trees, but most of the times my thing is Kawaki and Boruto, if they fight together, they could probably defeat Jura. It's just that he'll summon the divine tree and it'll heal him in 2.5. If they could find a way to like get Jura away from the divine tree once he actually does get pieced up by those two, like I think that could be an efficient way to like backstab Jura, but that's the only way.
Man, the coldest introduction that Kawaki had stabbing Juro through the eye was probably like the most coldest thing, like
That was
in
cold.
relative of Boruto stepping on Code's face, bro. Like
Yeah.
I can't get that out of my head.
The thing is, these past 3 years, we know that Kawaki's been relatively safe, especially through the Amado defense thing. But for the most part, he's not been really trying to, from what we've seen, go out to go hunt down Boruto or kill Otsutsuki or whatever. He's not been in danger, especially with Ada and Daemon by his side. And Ada loves Kawaki. She doesn't want anything bad to happen to him. If Kawaki died or something tragically bad happened to Kawaki, it'd be curtains for Ada. She just wouldn't care about anything anymore. It'd be like if Sakura lost Sasuke. She would just retire being a ninja. She might just off herself. Screw Sarada and Sumire doing it. She'll just do it herself. So the farther that Kawaki goes in this, and the longer this goes on, the more risk Kawaki's taking on himself, and the more likely it is that if he doesn't just die from whatever threat, his body's just going to give out on its own. Ada obviously doesn't want that, and she should be able to see that all that's happening with the Senrigan, and just intuition in general, just seeing Kawaki in the same way that Sakura could just tell Sasuke was falling into darkness throughout all of part 1. The longer this goes on, the more desperate Ada's going to become, the more likely she is to act on her own or to come up with some crazy plan to just end all this all at once.
You know, I hate people give me flack for this. I hate Kawaki as a character in Two Blue Vortex. I feel like
Preach.
Ryzen. Remember?
Boom.
Ryzen. I don't
Dropping
remember if you remember
bombs.
when we were in that Twitter space chat with me, you, and a couple of the people when we were talking about like the monthlies. But I know that Kawaki wasn't in any sense of danger, but this man just slacked off the whole entire time Boruto's been training. Granted, the situations were very different, but it's just like Kawaki to me is just like too relaxed. He doesn't see the stakes that presents itself, and I just feel like maybe it's like bad writing, but I really don't like Kawaki as a character. I really don't.
You know, I'm with you there. I don't like Kawaki as a character, but I don't think it's necessarily bad writing, because look at Kawaki as a character. He even says it himself. He was a husk of a man. He had no like real goal. Naruto was the thing that breathed life in him. Right now, Naruto is sealed. Kawaki's under the assumption that once everything happens, he's gonna off himself. Naruto's gonna hate him. So I feel like even though we do know he did have like some combat training, he kind of lost his drive. What made Kawaki into that character that people initially liked, that's gone. He lost the drive to even care. So I feel like he just lost his purpose to an extent. Kind of like, if I had to compare it, it would be like Vegeta's early days when Goku was dead, where he just lost his complete drive and he just like went along with the motions at that point.
But look at the stakes look at the stakes that presented itself. You knew at any given point, like you knew from the end of the series, like, hey, I gotta kill. He even tells Naruto this. He's like, yo, I want to protect you. My life revolves around you. And like, if you know you got to protect someone and you know you have to go kill Boruto, or fight code or do whatever you have to do. You know this is gonna happen. And yeah, he did train and he had some sort of training, but he did nothing. Like I said, I understand that the two situations compared to Boruto and Kawaki are different, but Kawaki slacked off so bad.
Oh,
that
100%. I'm right with you.
that
I
Boruto
can't-
pulls up and he's
I
like,
can't
"You're
give you
trash."
I can't get. My thing is we can't really compare him to anything because his ascension, like compared to Boruto, is like it's like a joke. Like we understand why it's a joke. Like the only thing I could probably say maybe we could probably compare him to would be Code, but he never really fought against
But
Code, so we
look,
can't
look
really
at the
even get
look
that.
at the look at the situation when he's so desperate. He's like, "Bro, I really need to power up." He doesn't go through a training montage. He literally goes to Amado, threatens him, use a failsafe to unlock more power. Are you freaking kidding me?
But what
Like,
That's
training
badass. Why don't you like
listen,
that?
you
Like,
know
I
what that
like
reminds
that,
me
bro.
of? You
Get
know,
more power.
listen. You know what that reminds me
Bro,
of?
like
That reminds
he's
me
so
of in Dragon
passionate,
Ball.
bro.
Listen. That
you
reminds
go
me
ahead,
in
bro.
Dragon Ball Super, and like, bro, I feel a tingling feeling on my back. That's how I feel with
Oh.
Super Saiyan, bro. Like, that's some bad writing
Yeah.
from him, bro.
I
Long
can
story
get
short,
Wavy's
Kawaki's a
Into the
bum.
ninja deck.
He's
I
a
can
bum.
get
He is a
Wavy's
bum.
point. I just think it's more so Kawaki's a bumbling idiot than it being bad writing. We know he's a dumbass. We know he doesn't think things through.
Well-
Because we got to think about it this way: like it or not, what did Kawaki do at the end of part 1?
He's
He
trash. That's
basically
what
gave
everything
Code
up.
a free buffet. If Code was slightly more competent, Kawaki could be eating taiyaki right now, and the world would be ending. So, oh damn it, I forgot. Code can eat Boruto at any time, and the world ends. So I do see the complacency. If Code was a little more competent, the world would have ended without Kawaki being able to do shit. So I see Wavy's point because he could have been hunting down Code. He could have been trying to be more proactive, but that just leads to Kawaki having no real plan.
Exactly.
He wants to kill all
I
the
blame
but
the
you can
time
say-
skip
but you
being
can
written
say
Wait a
that's
poorly.
so
minute.
bad. That's a
Ada
bad-
could have
that's
alerted
bad writing.
Kawaki at any time. Ada could have alerted Kawaki at any time. What are you doing?
I mean, we know Ada has a short attention span. She doesn't look at everything like all the time. She even said she wouldn't peek at Boruto. So she wasn't peeking at Boruto until he came to the village.
Yeah.
So when
I mean,
Sasuke and Boruto were fighting Code, ow.
Jeez.
Wait,
Somebody about to blow up the building.
I guess you could say proof of this is the fact that Code did actually find Boruto during the time skip. I guess one way to get around this would be they know that he's with Sasuke, and so they're assuming that Sasuke can keep him safe.
But give me a
that's
reason.
not even a
Give
good
me
assumption.
a reason. Give me a good reason why Kawaki.
Yeah, that's really
I
bad.
want somebody
Kawaki's a bum.
Give me a good reason
It's
why
not about
to
strength,
go
it's about
Kawaki.
competence. And Sasuke did keep him safe. Boruto did get away. It's not about beating Code, it's about keeping Boruto safe. And Boruto was kept safe.
the problem
Bingo.
becomes: do we give Kawaki credit for him
No.
thinking, for him
No.
potentially believing Sasuke's competent enough to keep that idiot safe? Or do we throw him
Nah.
under the bus because it could have easily went the other way of
He's a
Boruto
bum.
getting devoured and then
Exactly.
Otsutsuki hypothetically
I just think Kawaki is like just thinks that at his maximum potential, even if Code does devour Boruto and gets that power, he's just not gonna be able to beat him in a fight. Like, he just thinks he's stronger
but
now.
Kawaki
It's the
knew the
only way.
stakes. Kawaki knew the stakes of what everything was happening. He knew that Boruto was going to be, with Sasuke. Sasuke took him away. Now Sasuke's this is his third time being labeled a traitor. So now Sasuke goes through the ropes. He knows this shit. He's like, yo, I know how this works. I know what to do. But Kawaki just sits there for the next time skip and does absolutely nothing. He doesn't do anything.
Actually, wait, I have a question. How do we not know that like Kawaki was searching for them, but they were just like getting away?
Yeah. It's just the time skip's poorly written in that regard. We have
like
no
it's
idea
it's,
what to
it's
think.
fairly ambiguous as to like whether or not
whether
we actually know what Kawaki was doing, but we can't say for sure
Especially
that
if
he wasn't.
anything, I'd argue it's alluded to that Kawaki was based on chapter 80 when Ada's talking to Boruto at the very end there. Ada's saying that no matter how much Kawaki badgers her about it, she's just not going to reveal where Boruto is. And so that's probably alluding to that.
So all of a
Yeah.
sudden, his
Yeah,
trust is
exactly.
so strong in Ada. He's not gonna take the initiative. It's just that drive. He lost. He don't got that dog in him no more.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
That just
simple.
supports the claim that Kawaki didn't
And also,
go.
they don't
He's
say
a
that he wasn't
puppy.
training during a time skip. By the way, he just
No,
like
he was
Boruto just
combat. He was
says.
combat training. He was pure
Yeah,
combat training with
exactly.
Shinju.
He's I mean from at least in the anime from like
Doesn't
being a
make
baby,
sense.
like he's been raised to train and to train very violently. So I doubt
They,
that
they,
he
they,
would have stopped training.
Based
That
on the
makes no
code
sense.
art,
they only
it doesn't
allude
make sense
towards
for
his
him to do
training. Headcanon wise, you can assume that he did combat training with Mitsuki over the time skip.
that. Yeah.
That's the closest thing we can say.
Yeah,
But
it's
why
just
would he do that? He's not a ninja. He doesn't want to be. It takes too long. He
He
said
he
that in the
grew up
code art.
fighting to train. I mean, he
Well,
wasn't
he
opposed to
doesn't have to
fighting to
be a
train.
he doesn't need to be
Yeah,
a ninja to train, right? Like
he grew up
because they
fighting to
that's not
train.
really the thing. He just doesn't want to learn ninjutsu and do the things that a shinobi does. He just wants to fight,
No,
which
no.
I
What
mean
I'm
Yeah,
is going to
saying
be
is
cool.
that that way of training, he's already disregarded because it's going to take what 3, 5, 10 years to get to code's level. I don't want to do that. I need the
I
power
think actually,
now.
if nah, forget all that. Because if we even go back to the conversation Boruto had, he alludes to the fact that there's a future where Kawaki frees Naruto and he
yes,
trains with that
he mentions
Naruto, and Kawaki did not make that decision.
yes.
So I don't even think he's been trained. I'm gonna take back my statement. That
It's just
nigga's bald already.
unfortunately,
Just sit down.
it's just
I wouldn't.
unfortunately in my
Ah,
mind. Unfortunately, in my mind, it feels
He
like
been sitting
Kawaki
down, bro.
himself would have benefited from ninja training rather than pure combat training, just because of who Kawaki is, not because the ninja way of training is inherently better. It just I feel like it would have fit Kawaki more. And like what Uchi has said, it could have been possible for Kawaki to get that training from Naruto, and within that 3-year time frame, get to a significant amount of power. And then once those
Mm,
limiters get removed, it would only benefit him. But they ran out of time. There's no time for Kawaki to go through years of training now. So they do need quick is better. They do need drug addict Kawaki. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, yeah,
he
exactly.
does
Now,
because it
yeah,
took him
now they
3
need it.
years to
That's the only
realize. Oh
that's the only
snap!
reason he's doing it. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh
but
snap! Amato's probably doing some funny money. It took him 3 years to realize. Oh, Amato's probably doing something crazy to
I
my
mean,
So
body.
look at
stupid,
what
bro.
Kawaki.
was it
And
only
Kawaki
3 years though?
look
Like
at
it could
what
have been
Kawaki
Kwaki's
could
entire
do.
life.
But I mean, like I think I mean even if you look at like what he's doing in the time skip compared to what he was doing, particularly in the code fight, he does seem more mature as an Otsutsuki. Like he has more tomos in his eyes, or dharma wheels is what I would call it in his eyes.
Yeah,
Which is usually an entailment of power, as we can see with Ishiki and Jigen. And also, we see him flying around, right? We just see him.
yeah.
It just seems like he's more accustomed to his powers. So, I mean, I think that is implicit of either yes, he was training and that allowed him to unlock this power, or maybe he was just getting stronger because the ossification process. Who knows? But
Yeah,
I think
Exactly.
yeah,
there's a base with that. Like
could be
both him
both.
and Boruto, like
well,
adjusted
Hmm.
to their base Otsutsuki like things that
Kawaki
they can do with their
And
body.
Kawaki's introduction when he sees Boruto when they fight like the Krogrimes and Boruto fights Code. You know what I mean? Kawaki's like sees that Code's on the floor. He's like, yo, I can probably take him. Like Kawaki's a laid back character. Kawaki has nothing in his bag, like showing that he sees the sense of urgency of what's going on.
I feel like part of the problem with that is we know Kawaki has another power up. Even when he was limited, he had the V2 of Karma. We just don't know where Ikamoto's going with it. Can Kawaki fully utilize V2 Karma? Can he fully
We know,
tap
but
into
he
it at
doesn't
will?
know.
Or does it need to be an emotional issue? So I feel like
Yeah.
until we see that, we haven't really seen what Kawaki's full potential can be.
yep.
Because
Yeah, I
we
think
don't know the depths of what we don't know the depths of his karma that he can tap into. He could be
My problem with that, it's so clear he was able to just do it at will in the code arc. You could say he was emotional in the code arc.
Yeah.
Wait. What was
not
it
Naruto
crazy.
was
that he
literally
could do
about
it
to
at
die.
will?
I mean,
Why do you
Naruto.
think he could do it at will in the code
I was
arc?
about to say the
Basically
fact
was.
remains that every time we see no horn, it's because he thought Naruto was in danger. That's
Yeah.
only 2 times.
That's
Yeah.
very different. Naruto was about to get popped, and
Mhm.
then he came out there and was like, no, and then saves him. That's different.
That's not different
Yeah.
because Jigen pops up, and in this guy's head, he spent the last 7+ years getting mentally abused, physically abused, and convinced that this is the strongest person alive. He pops up randomly in the living room. Yeah, that's like, yeah, bro, Naruto, you're about to die. So that's kind of the same as seeing a giant Rasengan going right to Naruto's face and his head. What's stopping
Mhm.
Jigen from kicking Naruto's head right off of his shoulders?
I
Mhm.
guess the thing that makes me suspicious about it is like we've seen him in instances where it makes sense he would use the V2 form. That gives him the most amount of power. That makes
Yeah,
him most effective as a combatant. He just doesn't use it. So it's like,
But
can he really just go into it if he just wants to? Like,
he still
It
went
might
and
just be that same
threatened. He
mental
still
barrier as the
went and
Mangekyo Sharingan.
he still went and
yeah.
threatened Amado. He still went and threatened Amado to help him unlock a new form for him.
Well, to
Like,
be fair,
that's
I
true.
do think it's also just
Okay.
every shonen power up of all time to where they naturally progress to that form instead of starting in it. Sasuke did the same thing with this curse mark, Super Saiyan. You always progress one level at a time. I think Kawaki just gets knocked out before he can get to the V2 form usually.
So y'all don't think it's just the creative? Because I think the more time goes by, the more I think the possibility that it's just a creative decision. Ikemoto's like, yeah, they're as strong as they were in the Horn State, but we're not drawing the horns no more.
lazy,
I feel like for that to
No.
work, he has to explain it because we went so
Yeah.
long with having true essence and then having that horned karma form. So unless he can like explain it, like kind of how like Dragon Ball Z did it, where oh yeah, we've decided that base Super Saiyan is most optimal, so I'm gonna try to conserve my stamina and learn how to use this form as my base. So unless Ikemoto does that, it would feel really off if they just never acknowledge the horn forms again. I feel like that it
I
could
think
work.
they should. I think they should acknowledge them again. But I'm just like, it's just like based off of how
Yeah.
they've been writing it.
It would make
Yeah.
no sense for him to get that form and not. It's like getting Super Saiyan 3, fighting against an opponent that has upper levels of Super Saiyan 3 power, say someone like Jura, and he just never uses the form. That just makes no sense.
I agree. They definitely do have to explain it. And like they could just say, oh yeah, that form gives me a ton of power, but here's drawback A through C that we're just now learning about that
Kind of like
kind of
the
makes
Super
Karma V
Saiyan
But
work
we've
Blast
better.
never
versus.
seen a drawback. Even when he initially uses the form against Code, there seems to be no drawback. And I
Oh yeah,
think that's
100%.
I think that's inconsistent with his like narrative, which is to be an adequate vessel for Ishiki's power. So if he has drawbacks, that really that makes no sense to me either with the writing.
agree.
Like that's
I
don't know.
Especially after seeing
he-
Jigen did have the drawbacks.
I think
Yeah, exactly.
I think the way his form probably works is maybe I wouldn't say drawbacks. I just maybe don't think he can tap into it the way we think he can. Maybe there's something
Yeah.
that's set up for him to be able to do it. Like we see with Boruto in part one, like he struggles, but when he's next to Kawaki, like that thing works. Even in Two Blue Vortex, he's next to Kawaki, and we see his karma agitate. So like maybe it has to be something with that. I don't think he can just tap into it by himself. I think
I agree
Boruto
with what
is-
Boris said. I think for right now, he's kind of in the same situation Sarada was, where he needs an emotional catalyst. And even with Boruto, like he doesn't have that true essence control of karma that he showcased against Code. That was a fluke because of the pills. Right now, he's kind of debuffed to the lowest form of karma. So even Boruto's kind of standing at a even lower level than Kawaki, to where he's bottlenecked to whatever amount of power Momoshiki allows him to tap into. So I feel like it's gonna be an emotional catalyst, because we've been seeing this in Boruto, where you need an emotional catalyst to activate your true power. Sarada did it to
Not
reactivate her
necessarily,
Sharingan.
It's so
Yeah,
funny.
that's
'Cause
what
what did
mental lamps
Ikemoto
are.
just
Mental
do?
lamps are
What-
like stated, at least in the Land of Waves arc. You're going to your max potential because you're protecting the people you care about. And I think that, it makes sense that, especially how they explain like the Mangekyo Sharingan usage from Sarada, that is the reason that these people are able to tap into their full power. And without Kawaki having that condition in place, which is like Naruto being in harm's way, it's like, yeah, maybe that's the reason we don't get to see this power. So I think that's a pretty decent reason.
I think the only thing that I'm really curious about is the deal that he's made with Momoshiki. Like we know Momoshiki's been quiet for 3 years. I'm kind of curious what Boruto is going to do with that.
We already heard the deal.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, he's gonna give him his body.
No,
What do you mean?
no, not like that. But like Boruto finds a loophole for everything. So I'm not. I don't
Momoshiki go
think
commit suicide.
he'll be really just do some
We
shit.
don't
like
know the
that.
loophole, bro.
My theory is we're gonna find out at the beginning of next chapter. We're gonna start with the flashback, seeing what happened, and it's gonna be Momoshiki denying the deal, and we're gonna go from there.
He's gonna summon a
Ooh,
giant
interesting.
Rasengan and run
that would be
straight
really
into it.
interesting.
So
But the thing
He's
is,
gonna fight Momoshiki in the mind space, just like Boruto or not Boruto, but Naruto and Kurama did. And then he's gonna
Yeah, he's
defeat
smoking
Momoshiki and just
Momoshiki.
control his power. It's gonna be like
He's
a Black
smoking
Clover
it.
situation. Would y'all
So
hate that?
he's
Would y'all
in-
hate it if it's a Black Clover situation?
Oh my god!
I
never
wouldn't
seen
hate
it.
it, especially because in my mind, I feel like indirectly because of the flash forward, Momoshiki's been kind of relegated as a non-threat, because we know that for some reason or somehow Boruto is standing here He's able to tap into karma, and he sees whatever threat Momoshiki could hypothetically still pose in this flash forward as a moot point to where Kawaki's more of a threat. So it kind of makes me seem that Momoshiki's just a bum. He continues his homeless arc. He's just sulking.
I disagree. If Momoshiki's no longer a threat, Kawaki doesn't have any reason to kill Boruto as of right
his
now.
delusion will give him a
But the
reason.
thing is,
His delusion will give him a reason.
But the thing is, he's not
Yeah,
trying
they
to
can
kill
give him a
Boruto.
reason.
He told Boruto, I'll send you where I sent the 7th Hokage, Boruto.
He was trying to do that in the prophecy arc too, though. And unless you think he means literally, he could just be meaning out of this world.
But then here's the thing.
Kawaki says in that chapter, it's useless to send Boruto to that dimension. Like, there's no point in him doing it because he's in the Otsutsuki.
Something has to happen within the story to change that perspective.
Yeah, and this is Kawaki having to fight Boruto, weaken Boruto enough to where he can seal him. And this is Boruto who seemingly wants to fight Kawaki, who seemingly isn't the Boruto who said that, yeah, if Momoshiki becomes a threat, I'll gladly let you kill me. This is Boruto who seems to believe, hang on, I can still survive this whether I need to or want to. Kawaki seems to be more of a threat than whatever threat a current hypothetical Momoshiki, if he's still around, poses. So I think
no, I mean it could be Quad could be thinking the opposite. Quad could be thinking at that point Momoshiki is the biggest threat.
But the thing is, what did Kawaki do? What did Kawaki do leading up to this flash forward that Boruto seems to be so shocked to where he says, I can't believe you went this far, Kawaki. Like, oh, you didn't go this far when you tried to kill Sarada. You didn't go this far when you framed me. You didn't go this far when you gaslit the entire village.
It's got to be destroying the village. Something.
The only reason.
The only way to draw Boruto out. Yeah.
The thing is, Kawaki's clearly based on this willing to go farther. I don't think it's that Boruto wants to fight Kawaki. If Boruto says, I can't believe you went this far, and Kawaki says, you know what, Boruto, you're right. I'm going to stop right now. I don't think Boruto's going to keep fighting him. I think he's just going to stop right there. He's going to agree.
Yeah, it's Kawaki doing something to where Kawaki doesn't care anymore. He wants Boruto to square up. I'm gonna come at you. Like he said, that's right. Like once Boruto said, I guess this was the only possible outcome. Kawaki says, that's right.
You might take someone's life that they both know.
I mean, Kawaki doesn't care because even when Kawaki talks to Boruto into the vortex, he's like, "Yo, he's been quiet for 3 years. I don't know what he's doing. Like, he hasn't done anything. Like, even if he was to give Boruto like the benefit of the doubt and say, "Yo, he's working with Momoshiki. Momoshiki's not a bad person no more," Kawaki's still gonna try to kill him. Like, there's
just by being an Otsutsuki. Just by being an Otsutsuki.
Because Boruto's reluctantly saying it by saying, I guess this was the only outcome, and Kawaki's saying that's right, reinforcing the idea. It's the only possible outcome because Kawaki's making it the only possible outcome. There's other possible outcomes. Kawaki's just not going to allow them. It's the same as Madara versus Hashirama. Hashirama didn't want to have to kill Madara, but he felt like it was the only way because Madara was going to fight to the death.
But my question is, why would Kawaki destroy the village?
Good question.
Does he realize how much of a bum he's been, bro?
Why Kawaki would destroy the village would be something like he opposes the shinobi system. You can maybe apply it to someone like Sasuke, who Kawaki is written in the story to parallel it is, or not parallel, but I mean, to some extent, really, he's like Naruto. But I mean, you could say that he has some semblances of, Sasuke. But his similarity in this case with Sasuke would be that he opposes the shinobi system. He doesn't see it as fit to attain the goal that he wants to attain. So, obviously protecting Naruto. Maybe he feels as if Naruto's life would be even in more danger if he was the leader of this shinobi system, which will put him in situations where he has to fight against people that clearly he's no match for. And because of that, that's what leads him to destroy the village and maybe destroy every other shinobi village.
Even if you grant him that, right? So unless omnipotence, like something happens and like everybody realizes, like everybody's already skeptical of everything. Sasuke was skeptical. Like he was like, I sense Momoshiki in you. I do all this. Shikamaru was already skeptical. Unless you could say everybody now realized Kawaki for who he is. He's the one that did this. That's the only real reason I give him for murking the village the way he did. Like that's the only thought.
I think by the time they're fighting on the Hokage places, omnipotence is reversed. Because at that point, he would have nothing to lose. What's the point of keeping up a facade? Right now, Kawaki's playing a role. He's trying to do what he can while still maintaining the facade that he's Naruto's
But
friend.
it's
Where's everyone else?
it's weird though. It's weird though because Kawaki says, "I'm going to send you where I sent the 7th," but it's like a dumb statement because he says there's no point in me sending you into that dimension.
Nah, yeah, I think that's let me not say the R word. I think that's a very dumb and idiotic statement too.
I mean, is it wrong
think,
to say it's retcon? Is it
I
wrong?
mean,
Unless
that's the thing.
Boruto-
It's either gonna be that or there's gonna be something that happens within the story because there's so much happened. Like even from prior to the introduction of a Shinju, like I remember when there was theories that it's possibly Boruto talking to Ishiki through Kawaki's body in that scene. Like we don't know.
What?
Like the more information
Nah,
we
that's
get about the
Kawaki.
story. Yeah, but the more information we get as the story goes on, the more we start to realize, like, oh, look at this scene differently, or look at this scene from this angle. So I think once we get some more information, we might see like whatever, because Kawaki is going to undergo another character shift pretty soon. So whatever drives that mindset for this next shift that he goes into might lead him into that decision.
So
But
Wavy, I have a question for you. So do you think that the only logical explanation I'm sure that you're thinking of is that Kawaki is a good guy in this situation?
In at this point in time when he fights Boruto?
Yeah, in the time skip, like when we see the flashback.
No.
Are you saying that he's not really the one that destroyed the village? He's trying to save
he's saying what
Boruto?
he's saying is stupid. What he's saying is stupid. Like to send him
No,
to
because
where
he's saying that he says he's going to send him to where the 7th is, right? We
Yeah.
know where the 7th is based on the information currently.
Mhm.
So he's not killing him. So the only explanation is that he's saving him.
Yeah, but he says it before that there's no purpose in him sending him to the dimension, that Goten dimension, because he's an Otsutsuki. There's no point in him doing it. It doesn't fix anything.
It basically becomes a situation to where killing Boruto in that situation was easier. Now he's switching and pivoting to where he doesn't want to kill Boruto. Sealing away Boruto takes more effort. But Boruto with the karma as an Otsutsuki, as long as he's on guard, he can dispel the portal before it takes effect.
Yeah.
So Kawaki has to pummel Boruto into damn near unconsciousness before he's even able to seal Boruto. So something within this character has to pivot to where, for some reason, he doesn't want to kill Boruto. Whether that means their beef is over and they just have idealistic beef, to where he's gonna seal Boruto away, take care of what needs to be done, and then unseal him, or he needs Boruto for something else, whether that's, whatever he wants. He just wants to seal Boruto away. Crackpot theory. It's not gonna happen, but here's a crackpot theory.
I don't know. I give a headcanon theory saying, hey, what if this is a whole thing like that? That's a whole nother timeline that just doesn't happen. Like, what if something changes and this part really doesn't happen? Like,
see,
I think this is one of those.
The reason why I'm against it is because we have this Boruto as the one who's narrating it. So for it to be another time, because we know it's gonna change. We know the designs are gonna change. We know the sword's gonna be different. Ikamoto even said it that these were rush designs. They're gonna be different in the manga. But for it to become a whole timeline where that doesn't happen, you kind of have to retroactively remove future Boruto as the one who's retelling the story, because we're technically still in a flashback. This is the present. We're just finding out what's leading up to this fight. That's why I think that it's gonna be. This is it. This is like Boruto Prime right here.
So Ryzen, you don't think it's retcon what Kawaki's saying to send him to where he sent the 7th, but still doubles back and says there's no point in him sending them there?
I feel like it just changes to where Kawaki doesn't want to kill Boruto anymore. He just wants him out of the picture for some reason. Whether that's altruistic, whether that's misguided, whether that's him wanting Boruto for something else. It just means for some shape or how or reason, he switches, he pivots. He does a 180. I don't want him dead anymore at this point in time. That's what I think.
I don't know. I think in this point in the series, Boruto and Momoshiki are like relative to like how Naruto is with Kurama. They're good friends and this and that. And Kawaki doesn't see the ideology.
I don't think
and he's like, I'm gonna send you to there.
But here's the problem.
They gonna be bumping fists and shit.
Here's the issue though. If we use Kawaki right now, right? If say for some like magic ninja Jesus reason, Momoshiki's soul gets extinguished from Boruto's body. If we use Kawaki as of right now, he still wants Boruto dead as of right now. This is not Kawaki from 3 years ago. This is Kawaki who's saying all Otsutsukis need to be dead. They're not allowed to exist. He even tells Boruto, Otsutsuki's like me and you, we shouldn't exist. Even if Aki becomes back a normal girl, but she has the body of an Otsutsuki, he's gonna want to off her just by being an Otsutsuki.
And that's why he says, I'm going to use the power that he doesn't want and hates to be able to fight and take out all the Otsutsuki.
Yes, then off himself.
Yeah, but like it's still like it's still contradictory because like Kawaki's basically going to be the only person left. What, he's going to off himself and then?
But that's what he said. That's what he told. That's
Yeah,
what
he
told
did
Sarada.
say he was gonna kill himself.
Yeah, he said I'll gladly off myself, but
Or
only
my bad.
after the
Hey,
job
yeah,
is done.
eliminate himself. Hey.
Long for sure, I feel like it's a problem because it is a bad plan. I'm not gonna lie to you. Kawaki is not thinking things through, so we're gonna find a lot of holes in how he talks about it or just how he goes about things. Because overall, like his plan is terrible. So
You know
Yeah, and we
why?
even
You know
know-
why it's bad? You know why it's bad? This is what happens when you give trash characters the main role in the series. You're gonna
yeah,
say
exactly.
you're gonna give a character that didn't train for 3 years like that the seat, and all he gets to do is press the button and the code name, and that's how he gets power. Like this is what happens when you give a trash character the main role. Okay,
See,
like I hate
Honestly,
that.
Cole's plan is better because Kawaki's whole plan was, oh, I got all this power now. I'm gonna kill all of these people. Okay, that's as
but
far as we
here's the thing though. Kawaki's plan was doomed from the start. The only reason why Kawaki is succeeding is from outside help.
It's because of omnipotence.
If we gave Kawaki everything he ever wanted on a silver platter, we know from Koji that you kill Boruto, but you get clapped by Code. So you didn't
Literally.
think about that. The world ended. Naruto and Hinata are stuck in a timeless dimension for infinity where they can't even die and go to the Pure Land to hang out with their family. So Kawaki's in this situation where he's just kind of. Actually, wait. I just thought the perfect reference. So we see how in part 1 Boruto was kind of more reactive than proactive, to where he was reacting to what Kawaki was doing.
Hold that thought. It's some noise.
There's an
Yeah, it's
echo.
whoever's in the bottom left. I can't see the names, but
Okay. I
Just me.
continue.
Right now, Kawaki seems to be more reactive, to where he's reacting to what Boruto's doing, reacting to Boruto's plan. He's not being proactive right now. He's kind of just being led on. And it goes back to what Momoshiki said to Koda and Kawaki, like, you guys are just being used. So right now, Kawaki's indirectly being played like a fiddle. So we need that pivot point to where Kawaki's starting to take control. To where what
back in the
happens to
driver's
Kawaki
seat.
to where he becomes this Kawaki, who's seemingly making his own choices about the shinobi world, seemingly wants Boruto sealed away for some reason that we don't know yet.
I agree that there should be a big change with Kawaki's character, but I also think that Wavy does have a point by saying it's really weirdly inconsistent and a little bit wishy-washy for Kawaki to just flip back and forth on killing, but not killing, but killing Boruto like 72 different times. It's a little bit weird in that regard. So I definitely think they should keep it a little bit more straight in that regard. In fact, I did really like what Juju was saying about this being about the shinobi system. In fact, I think it could be really interesting. Naruto's the Hokage. The Hokage is a position to where every Hokage has known it's a position that's greater than themselves. They have that sacrificial mindset to where they put the village above their own life. As it doesn't matter. It's going to be like Kawaki in regards to his karma seal, realizing it's not the karma that was the problem. It's these damned Otsutsuki. It's going to be the same thing to where Kawaki's going to realize it's not the Otsutsuki that's the threat. It's the shinobi system. It doesn't matter what the threat is out there. As long as there's any threat at all, and he can't get rid of every threat possible, the shinobi system is the origin. It's the root. It's the real problem here. As long as that exists, as long as Naruto's Hokage, he has a village to be Hokage over. That shinobi system's still in place. He's going to have that sacrificial mindset to where he's going to throw away his life to protect everyone, regardless of what the threat is. He's going to want to get rid of that, especially if Kawaki's not going to be here afterwards to protect Naruto.
See, I feel
Yep.
like
And
that's
he's
what
already
Kawaki-
seen it happen before. He's literally seen Naruto put his life on the line multiple times against Delta, which
Exactly.
they say that he put his life on the line. Obviously against Ishiki, where when he goes into barrier mode, it implicitly is like, all right, he's gonna die at the end of it. Obviously, it didn't end up that way, but the consistency there is like, yeah, being the Hokage is going to put you in situations that are going to be detrimental to your life. We see this with all the other Hokage, right? They were all in detrimental situations because they were protecting the village. That's just what comes with that shit. And Kawaki's looking at it like, damn, if this is true and Naruto's going to be in this situation, the only way for me logically to get him out of this situation is just destroying the thing that keeps continuously placing him in it. And that's literally what we see in the flashback.
I
That
can't wait.
that makes a lot
I
of sense.
agree.
I agree to an extent.
I think that's the point that Kawaki is coming to, but I think his full character arc comes to when he realizes even that thought process is flawed because say you do destroy the system, and I think like one of y'all just mentioned earlier is like threats aren't gonna go away.
Yeah,
Like it's still gonna be present. It's still gonna be a thing where something is gonna need to be protected, and someone or something else is gonna have to be that protector. He's just on that mindset where he doesn't like the idea of his role model, his hero being in Naruto, is the one to throw his life on the line. It's kind of like with Boruto, like that parallel where Boruto grew up hating the Hokage because he sees from his point of view, the Hokage is always busy with everything else and everybody else. So why should I rock with him? And Kawaki's point of view, he's like, if the Hokage is always going to put his life on the line to protect this damn shinobi system, how about I destroy the system? But without the system, who's going to be there to be the ones to be the protectors? And
I
also,
think
it's like,
you could definitely argue that it's a little bit weird or maybe a little bit silly or inconsistent considering how strong Naruto is. But if he removes all Otsutsuki to where Naruto is the strongest, it can still be, considering Kawaki's mindset, to where the thing that Naruto wants to protect should be himself rather than the village. Naruto's going to throw his life away doing the Reaper Death Steal against Orochimaru's 12th invasion rather than protecting his own life, not for the village, but for himself. So if he can just remove the concept of Hokage, Naruto, you're no longer Hokage. You don't have to throw your life away, like we've seen it in plenty times in the Boruto era. In the Boruto movie, he's able to wipe away Momoshiki's blast easily, but he doesn't do it because he wants to protect the village. In Naruto Gaiden, he could take out Shin Uchiha in a blink of an eye, but he's protecting the children, so he gets harmed. Sakura gets sealed away.
The thing is,
And
but that's the
inevitably
thing. But
being
that's
in
the
the
thing. You
position
have
is
to. We
gonna
can't write Naruto out of character. We can't
yeah,
do that because
because even
Naruto himself is going to be stubborn. You can be like, all
yeah,
right. You can tell
exactly.
Naruto like, yo, take away the Hokage. Be like, all right, I'm not Hokage, but
I'm still gonna
shit,
protect
I'm gonna
people.
fight. I'm gonna fight to protect people. It don't
Yeah,
matter.
because
Yeah,
even
Exactly,
if
yeah.
That's where
the world's
Kawaki's going to
gone,
realize he's wrong, but Kawaki isn't there yet. From Kawaki's perspective, the junkyard dog being backed into a corner, those are those who protect themselves. He has the part one Gara ideology. He
yeah,
wants to
you're
protect
right.
his own existence. That's when you're strongest. He doesn't realize, oh, love makes you stronger. He's not
see,
there.
I feel like
But you,
I feel like to an extent that just makes Kawaki narrow-minded because he sees Boruto even being classed as a rogue ninja. Boruto is still willing to risk his life for the villagers, for the villagers, for himself, or even Kawaki. So I
But
feel
that's
like
just it. He is
for him not to
narrow-minded.
connect that with Naruto, for him, like if it was just as simple as, yeah, I'm gonna remove the Hokage position, I'm gonna remove all these like hierarchy aspects of a shinobi village. Logically, Kawaki should be able to come to the conclusion right now that yeah, even if I remove this, as long as there's people in danger, Naruto's still gonna risk his life, even if he's not getting that paycheck, even if he's not being called the Hokage,
Yeah.
he's still gonna put himself in danger. If he sees
But
something getting more,
that's the beauty of it, of the
Yeah, he
emotional
doesn't understand
tragedy of
that.
it.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
doesn't
because
understand it.
he should be able to see it. The fact he doesn't is the point. That's the beautiful tragedy behind it. It's the same reason that Sasuke was blind. He closed his eyes to what Madara and Kaguya was doing, and he ironically fell to the same mistake that they did. That's why Sasuke lost
you
in the
know,
end.
what's crazy though? Like Toby Rama says it and Kakashi says it as well. Like it's the next generation will always surpass the previous one. That's the purpose of the lore of Naruto. The previous generation will always fall short. Naruto will never be stronger. Like all this thing that the Kawaki has, his ideology of protecting the Hokage. The Hokage is supposed to be strong for the reason. The Hokage is supposed to protect the village, but the next generation will surpass the older one. And Kawaki doesn't really seem to notice that because the only thing that he knows is he has no family aside from Naruto. So he wants to protect the one person that he loves. But He just needs to come to understand is, hey, the next generation will always surpass. Naruto will never be stronger than Boruto or these other people that's coming forward in the next generation. That's the point of Naruto.
The problem with Kawaki is his problem is out of all of the stuff he sat there and learned from Naruto, the only thing that stuck with him was Shadow Clone and Fireball. But all that talk no jutsu and chakra is bonds and connections went in one ear and out the other. That's his problem.
Okay, see, crackpot theory. And is it so wrong for me to want to see Kawaki suffer?
I agree. I agree.
Now, I don't think this will happen, but it would really be interesting to see him double down and kind of become what he feared and become that Otsutsuki threat. Because if he wants to protect Boruto, not Boruto, Naruto, what's the easiest way to do it? Becoming an omnipotent god. How would Kawaki do that? I mean, he wants to seal away an Otsutsuki. I'm not saying this is gonna happen, and I really don't want it to happen, but just kind of like how Sasuke went off the deep end at the end of Naruto a bit, we could get a situation where Kawaki big brains and thinks, if I feed Boruto to Ten Tails and I eat that chakra food, that might be enough to make me an omnipotent god. If I can finesse omnipotence, I can create a perfect world to put Naruto in where he'll never have to fight. He'll never have to suffer, and he can just stay safe in that perfect world he makes.
Ryzen, do you understand how much hate he will get from Hinata?
I want that. I want that.
He already has a lot of hate from Hinata.
Listen, Hinata was like, you're like, she slapped the dog crap out of him. He's like, listen, you're gonna kill my son. She immediately wrote him out the family. So can you imagine, like, let's just say crackpot theory, no crackpot theory, right? That Kawaki does bring them back. Kawaki's not gonna get no love, maybe from Naruto. Kawaki's not gonna get no mom, no love from Hinata. She didn't get a chance to see her kids grow up. She didn't get a chance to have that bonding moment.
She's gonna resent him.
She's going to hate Kawaki every day.
Wavy, crackpot theory. He becomes an omnipotent god. He'll give her a new son.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
He'll give her a new Himawari. There.
I ain't gonna lie. Nah, I'm gonna keep it a beat. Ironically enough, I think if Kawaki were to free everybody right now, the two people who would only not be mad at him would be Naruto and Hinata. Everybody else would be free.
I have a question.
Naruto and Hinata would be. I think they would be conflicted. But because we think about it, Hinata, like she's timid, she's shy, she loves people, she loves Naruto. Like she ain't as outgoing as Naruto. Naruto would be more facial with it. Like nah, I don't care what y'all say. Kawaki's still my son. Hinata would just be more reserved. She wouldn't be like.
Did you not see the slap that she gave?
Nah, she slapped the fuck out of Kawaki. That's the thing about it, though. The thing about it, with that slap, that's the slap of a mother reflecting the love of her child, bro.
Regardless,
that was a child abuse slap, boy. That was crazy.
Nah, because that's instinct. That's all instinct. Because look, when she slapped him, it was right as soon as he said, "Bro, I regretted not killing," or whatever he said. Like the first thing he thought of when Boruto was alive. Yeah, like she walked across that counter and slapped the dog shit out of him.
Think about it though. If you power scale that slap though, that slap on base, base turn, no Byakugan. She slapped the ball out of him, man.
That was mental amp slap.
Hey, that's the upscale.
Look here, scroll down a little bit. Now, when you see that Kawaki didn't even see that crap coming, can you imagine?
Why didn't he dodge, bro?
For 3 years, or I think there's another time.
Go down real quick. Go down to Hinata's dialogue. She's like, "You insane, young nigga."
She don't fuck with Kawaki, bro.
Yeah, she off that, bro. I think it's only knowledge.
I have a question for you guys.
How old is Kawaki and Boruto in the first chapter?
In part 1,
Boruto's 12 and Kawaki's in the middle.
He's 14.
16 in the flash forward. 16.
The flash forward. So can you imagine the generational slap he will receive for knowing that she hasn't seen her kids in about
potentially
4 years. 4
years,
4 or 5 years. That slap.
She's like, "You're insane." Hold on! Exclamation point! You're insane. That means look at the tears from her. Yeah, she.
Look, Naruto got his hand on her shoulder. He's holding her back. He's like, "Nah, calm down. You can't be doing that." She's doing it anyway.
It's the dialogue. He's not
stopping her.
Wait, I have a question for you. Yeah. Say we get like a decent ending where everyone lives, omnipotence is fixed, and they're freed. But everyone knows what Kawaki did. Do you think Naruto and Hinata are gonna do that Yeah, family corruption. Because he's my son, I'm gonna pardon him. Or do you think they'll let Kawaki face justice?
You see, so
Nah, that
my
nigga gonna be in
listen,
prison for a couple
I
of
think
months, just
so.
like Sasuke.
I think they're gonna give him the Sasuke treatment, and because think about it, I mean, it wasn't up to him. Well, in the story that Kawaki said, it was his omnipotence with Ada that caused this to happen. It wasn't just purely Ada. That was his way of what he wanted to know. He wanted this to happen. So if he comes clean and says it, he will go to jail, just like Sasuke. And I think he will end up going in a different light and a different path. But no, I don't think he'll go straight
Do
back.
you think Naruto and Hinata interfere with that, like how Kakashi and Naruto kind of interfered with Sasuke, or do you think that sets a bad example to where, yeah, as long as you're connected with Naruto, you'll be fine, and he'll use this clout to help
You know what?
Or
It's
just,
not going to be
gonna
Naruto.
run
It's going to
into-
be Boruto.
No,
Because
no,
Naruto
you're gonna-
hasn't been here to see the past 5 years. Boruto has. He's
But
going
you're
to be the
gonna,
one sticking up
but
for
you're gonna
Kawaki.
run into an issue though. The daimyo is still around, so you're gonna have to face them as well. Like Naruto doesn't, like Shikamaru doesn't have enough power to do anything he wants because of the daimyo. So who's to say the same thing will happen with Naruto? The daimyo is gonna be like, I
That
don't
was the other thing I forgot to mention earlier. That makes it even worse
yeah,
because
Yeah.
that little Charlie Kirk looking guy, bro. I'm telling you, he is standing on business. Like
Nah,
Naruto,
that's the
if he's in
assistant.
the
That's the
Hokage
assistant.
position,
But
he's not getting like they are forcing him to do his job correct. Or it's
you know what's
GG.
crazy? The daimyo. What I think would play out is the daimyo is gonna be like, listen, so we don't want him in the village. This is what happened, and he's gonna be like Boruto. They're both gonna be the supporting Shadow Hokage. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them become the supporting Shadow Hokage. I don't think that
Boruto and Kawaki.
yeah, I don't think that Kawaki's just going to be in the village. Boruto already let it be known that he wants to support Sarada and become the Shadow Hokage. That's already said and done. But can we get one like quote unquote Sasuke's, like two supporting Hokages because they're brothers? I wouldn't.
feel like
Sasuke, I'm gonna say a hot take right now. Kawaki's ending arc, he's gonna die in Sumere's arm because when the plot to his plot reveal, Kawaki and Sumere like each other. He's gonna die in Sumere's arms. Boruto's gonna pull up at the last minute, and then they're gonna have their last moments together.
but
And
yeah,
that's
don't
how
give me false
Kawaki's
hope.
story gonna end.
Don't give me false
That's
I
how
hope.
would
it's
be
gonna end.
so. I would be
Give me
so
false hope.
happy if Kawaki dies. But
Yeah,
I
would
think
be-
he's gonna
don't
die.
give me
I think
false
he's
hope.
gonna die.
I do have a question for you guys though. The flash forward, it's kind of two questions. The first one being, where is Kakashi? And the second question is, what happened to the other supporting characters like Shikamaru, Sarada, Sumere during the flash forward? What happened?
I'll say this for the Kakashi one first, because I'm the reason why I'm keeping hope on Kakashi returning, because in the same interview, I think back in like 2017, Ikimoto was like, "Yeah, Kakashi coming back." He did say in that same interview, like, "Yeah, I got big plans for Himawari," and we see the fruits being ripe right now with Himawari. So I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm counting my days, but I think Kakashi might come soon. It's gonna be very unexpected.
Where
can
is
see it.
Kakashi? Where is Kakashi?
I can
That
see
nigga
it.
has never been in the manga at
You
all.
already know where he at. He chilling in the shadows, reading his little magazines. You know what I'm saying?
I can
Just
see it
chilling.
because if we think about this, this might like ironically be Shikamaru's last arc to where he's Hokage because he was
Yeah.
kind of on the precipice
Shit.
beforehand and he needed Koji's help to like stay in power.
Are you gonna
Now you have the divine trees.
That he's gonna die.
No,
Yeah,
Koji and
I don't know why
Shikamaru
nobody
gonna
said
die
that
this
earlier.
arc.
Everybody
Dying?
said like
I don't know about
That was
dying,
really-
but he could be removed from office because think about it this way. Now you have the divine
I think
trees
dying.
happening in here in the village. Now you have these shinobi helping Boruto. You have Mitsuki in the corner who might take the fall potentially. So I feel like the only possible person you could bring at that point is Kakashi.
But
Because
you know,
once he-
you know what's crazy?
Or
though?
Sakura.
The excusing like that's how Sasuke got pardoned, right? He got pardoned because of the help of the Kages, right? And that's how he got not Kages, the Hokage pardoned. But he still
Kakashi
faced,
and Naruto.
yeah,
Those
he
are the main
still
voices.
faced the repercussion of it.
Yes.
He still had he even said, you know, a lot of people get this misconstrued. He wasn't banished from the village. He went as atonement. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kawaki sees the wrong in his ways and does the same thing and says, you know what, I'm gonna go on atonement for what I did, and Boruto will support the Hokage. But instead of leaving the village, Boruto will be in the village.
See, I feel like the
Kawaki's
problem
atonement
becomes
death.
how much blood do the villagers want? Because they didn't like Sasuke, but a lot of what Sasuke
Yeah, they gonna hate
did,
Kawaki.
a lot of what Sasuke did didn't directly affect them. It was more of an honor situation. with Kawaki, he's kind of messing up their day-to-day life in
It
general,
was that good old
especially if he
fashioned
destroys the
Konoha
village.
hydrated game propaganda.
So even if the daimyo, because the daimyo messed with Naruto a lot, even if Naruto can swing the daimyo to pardon him, there's also the perception of the people. How do you placate the people going on a scenario where they know everything that happened? Not that they're in the dark. Like in a scenario where they know everything that happened from point A to point B.
Here's the thing.
How do you placate them?
Look what Hiruzen for like flashback. You remember what when I was talking to you about that Hiruzen topic? Like I didn't like Hiruzen at all. Like I hated Hiruzen, but Hiruzen got a lot of flack. But look at the pressure that Hiruzen was under. You know, he had he was dealing with the daimyo. He was dealing with X, Y, and Z, and he had Naruto that he had to keep under wraps. So I could see the same fallout that would happen for Kawaki. The daimyo can only say so much, but Naruto, as the person that saved the village, as the person that everybody's gonna know that that's his son. Boruto did protect the village against X, Y, and Z. Shikamaru witnessed this as well. So you have all of this support that it will change the narration of the story. So I don't believe that Kawaki. Yes, they're gonna want blood, but I think they're just gonna either banish Kawaki from the village and he's gonna seek atonement, or like that. I don't think he'll die. I don't think they're gonna want to kill him.
I see it, but just to meme it. If I'm Ninja NPC Crook #1, and I got 5 years in blood prison for like mugging someone, and I see Kawaki getting pardoned, and this is the second time in like 20 years that Naruto pardoned a mass criminal, I would be pissed.
But it's Naruto. The world loves him.
But you know what sets the precedence though? Sasuke killed people. Like he was really like murking people in and out versus Kawaki. As far as I know, I don't even think Kawaki has a
Sasuke got limited bodies. He wasn't killing people.
Like Sasuke was it Sasuke put in the bingo book? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he wasn't killing people though. He wasn't out here like off the heads.
His main crime was just joining the Akatsuki.
Yeah, but
he killed a couple samurai.
Look at Kawaki. Like Kawaki hasn't really got a body on his head. The only thing that you can say is,
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with the hidden cloud stuff. I see that more as Sasuke dealing an honorable service against the cloud, because I think the cloud deserved that. To be honest,
I mean that's hilarious.
I will say crime was the Akatsuki and the samurai, because they did kidnap Kushina and they did try to kidnap Hinata. So I think that's what they deserve.
They make it clear that being an Akatsuki member in general, just aligning yourself with the Akatsuki is in and itself a crime. In part one, you don't actually have to do anything because of what the Akatsuki has organization.
That's crazy.
That's joining. They were labeled as a rogue ninjas that sit there and terrorize others.
And just even leaving the village without permission as a ninja is a crime. And then he went with the guy who killed the Hokage. And the only reason why he wasn't labeled as a criminal was because Tsunade was on Team Naruto, where she said, I'll let you guys deal with this privately, but it kind of spiraled once Sasuke did something internationally. Once he caused an international incident with the Cloud, Tsunade's hands were tied. That's it. All his crimes were in order at that point.
He pulled up on all 5 Kage and said, yo, what's good? Like, he let them know, yo, y'all want that smoke? I'm here. And he sat there and threw the ones with another Kage at that. So, yes, he had every right to be banished and to be put in prison.
In that circumstance, with the Raikage, I think that was a community service for the Leaf. I don't see that as a crime, me personally. Everything else can be a crime, but I was anti-Cloud at that point, so.
It's with the Akatsuki, they are actually just seen as an organization, not the individual members. So anything an individual member does is applied to the organization. It's applied to every member itself. We hear this in part 1 because the Akatsuki is known for killing a feudal lord, which is something specifically only Kisame did. It's known for bomb terrorism, which is obviously something only Deidara did. It's known for a third thing. I forget what it is. It might be going after the tailed beast, but I think it was something else. But again, it's like the entire organization is held responsible for that, not just the individual members.
And then they were even being hired by shinobi villages because of how cheap they were. They were basically kind of like a illegal mercenary group of criminals. So like even Onokis alluded to hired the Akatsuki once or twice.
But you know what's crazy
Yep.
though? Yeah, I know the time frames are different, but Hashirama himself, like I give people
Slave
give
owner
that,
Hashirama.
but like Hashirama was out there collecting the chakra beasts,
Yeah, slave owner
like,
Hashirama.
he was
The
selling
worst
them
Hokage
off.
ever.
Okay, so like he was selling them off. So don't give too much flack to the Akatsuki. Okay, like Hashirama's the main guy that set this precedence for doing this.
Yeah, dude was a
He
slave
gave
owner.
them this-
Yeah.
this man gave the
like
idea.
it or not,
Yo.
dude was enslaving sentient beings and saying, "Yeah, you're too strong. I fear you. I'm gonna sell you off."
I don't know. I hate Kawhi. I hope he dies. I'll throw a freaking party when he dies.
Wavy, don't give me false hope. I'll be the first one to invite everyone to a party.
Bro, listen. I'm telling you guys right now, bottles on me the day Kawaki dies, bro. Bottles
Yo, I'll
on me.
co-sponsor
Crazy.
that.
Bro, he's just a terrible character, bro. He doesn't think things
He's not a
through.
terrible character. The problem is he's a good character, bogged down by terrible writing. He's a good character, but he's made a nothing character because of the writing.
Nah, he's bogged down by the generational curse of being an orphan, because it seems like most of the people who are causing problems in Naruto are orphans. Obito, Orochimaru, Kawaki.
Don't forget
About
Kabuto.
Naruto.
Madara was- wait.
Naruto was that one of few exceptions, but I can
Oh,
list a lot of orphans that have been causing problems. Yahiko, not Yahiko, Nagato.
I mean, Kakashi was a pretty good orphan.
I have a funny one. Hagoromo.
Sasuke,
Okay, but he was disowned. Can we argue that he was disowned, or did Kaguya still mess with him though?
Hiruzen definitely let a lot of orphans down. I would say that. I don't give him a pass to his Hokage run because there's a lot of bullshit that he let slide that he has no excuse for.
Oh, Aruka as well.
So who took care of Sasuke in part 1? Like I know
He by
Naruto.
himself.
Like
Yep.
Yeah, he was by
Nobody.
himself.
you're telling me at that age that my man's had a whole apartment to himself? Like
You gotta
wow.
The
remember-
nigga was still living in the
Yeah.
Uchiha place. He was the only one living in that town.
he was
for a
probably
minute,
rich,
bro.
bro. He's
Yeah,
probably
you
rich,
also gotta
bro.
remember this is written by a Japanese dude, and in their
Yeah.
in Japanese culture, kids are like taught to be self-sufficient at a young age, especially because they can like go to school in like a whole different area and they have to live by themselves. Especially Sasuke, someone who was like in a prestigious clan, he would have been taught as a kid to be self-sufficient. Unlike
So
Naruto,
how
was
much
a bumbling idiot.
how much do you think the Hokages get paid every year? What's that salary looking like to be able to put up with this bullshit? Like,
Oh,
you
they
guys-
get like millions, bro.
Nah, bro. I ain't cutting him no slack because Sasuke's living conditions. Granted, you can be a messy person and like Sasuke still had shit in that house. Naruto had a cupboard full of expired ramen cup noodles. You telling me the third
That's
Hokage couldn't do nothing
Naruto's
about that?
fault. That's his own
That is
fault.
not-
Naruto
wow.
had a huge
I ain't
freaking
trying to hear
apartment,
that.
Dude
bro.
was
I
given
can't
an
That's
apartment,
crazy.
and
And
dude was
it
saying,
makes
"Deal with
crazy.
it." Like that's.
And it makes it no better that the ninja were underpaid. Like Naruto, every time he got a bag, he either Jiraiya stole the money or did something with it. Like these ninjas
Nah,
are
that's
underpaid.
crazy. By the time, not even. By the time he was a
Naruto's
guinea,
wallet is
by the time he was a
loaded.
guinea, by the time he was a guinea, that's cool. I'm talking about even pre-Ninja Academy days, bro. This dude was literally eating dinner by
Okay,
himself on a
Here's
nightly
the thing,
basis.
though.
I mean,
But
he
yeah,
had
here's the
Like
thing.
shadow
4
clones.
cups of noodles in his cupboard.
He had shadow clones to help.
But here's
him.
the thing: I'm the first person to hate
Bro.
on Hiruzen, okay? For all the memes, but if we objectively look at it, this is a
Nah, bro.
ninja world where they enlist child soldiers.
Nah, bro. Because if you just look at it objectively, right? Prior to getting that headband, that means Naruto is not on salary. Sasuke is not on salary. How the fuck Sasuke got a full fridge and Naruto don't? That's the Hokage's fault.
Bro, you're
That's the
proving the
Hokage's
point
problem.
that Naruto wasn't poor. If he was hungry, why would he let his food expire? He had enough food in his fridge that it
No.
could go
It's
bad.
the thing.
No,
He
I don't
only
even
got
think he was
4 of them
hungry.
in the
Like, I'm pretty
cupboard. It's
sure
the
at the
thing,
like
though.
if
Naruto
I think
was
I think
barely
if he's
home.
at the academy, they should be feeding him, like
Bro,
giving him lunch and shit.
Naruto was barely
Just
home.
like if you go to
bro.
school.
So
Let's
all
also
those
just ignore
missions-
that orphan kids in Naruto, like Kakashi and Naruto, we see both of them fishing. They just get fresh.
That's not even a main gripe with the third Hokage.
Hiruzen was
The
eating
Naruto
fish
thing,
with him one time too, bro.
Yeah.
the Naruto thing is bad. The real reason is bad is because he looked Minato in his eyes and said, "Don't worry about that boy. I'm gonna take care of him." He
Okay,
looked
but
him
here's
in
the
his
thing,
eyes and
though.
said that. That's
If we look
messed
at it
up.
objectively, Naruto was treated better than most Jinchuriki. We got to remember, this is still a
Yeah.
world that's in a Cold War with child soldiers, with assets. It's Minato's own fault. He knows it. for making his son a Jinchuriki. Even
B
Kushina
got
called him out on it.
bro. B got better treatment than
No,
that.
no,
Bro,
B
yeah,
got
bro.
at the beginning.
Everybody knew
Nah, B
Killer
was
B.
treated like dog
Every
shit.
Got way
B was
better.
treated like dog shit, but at least I kept B like at the whenever B wasn't out rapping or scrolling through the town, he was at I's hip. Like this, the third. When are they ever together?
No,
Like he
maybe
don't
the
even check on
third.
the nigga. Like come
We don't
on.
know exactly when it happened, unless I'm forgetting. We know A and B were close at first, and then at some point after becoming the Jinchuriki, A didn't really like B as much anymore.
I think it was when his dad died, and then he confined B to the
think
village
so.
to
I
Bro,
think so,
the
yeah.
only time
become the
the only
protector.
time the
It
only time
was
he
that, and then
really
when they performed that perfect lariat, I don't know if that was in the manga because I seen the anime, but when they performed that perfect lariat together in training, that's when A started to lift off of that
bro,
notion
But
that
you
he
also
was
got to
gonna
wasn't
rap.
remember,
he wasn't
initially people hated B. Like his
Yeah,
friend
they
wanted to
used to.
off him.
Yeah, they
So
treated him
even
like
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
You
Naruto,
can't stop people from hating you, but it's
The
the
even
thing
fact
is,
that you
whenever
every day
A,
like his most strongest memory, Naruto's like most vivid memory as a child, bro, is gonna be that damn swing. And if you'd have asked Naruto himself before even getting the ninja headband, like who's your top dog? Who's the nigga you look up to? And he's not gonna name the person who his dying father left him in charge of. He's not gonna say who rules in the third. No, he's gonna be like Aruka. That's my dog. That's my. He
you,
asked that nigga to be his father's step in. As like if
you,
Hiruzen was alive, I
you
don't even
know
know if he would have got a formal invitation to the wedding.
you know
I'm
what's
being
but
sad?
here's
honest.
the thing though,
Listen,
we
listen,
have to
listen,
understand
listen,
that
listen, listen. You know what's
Naruto as an
sad?
adult. Oh wait, no, continue.
You know what I'm saying? You know what's sad is the fact that listen, so Jiraiya tells Naruto, right? Like, yo, you have this beast in you, right? Like, yo, you have this chakra, you gotta control. So you're telling me the only times that Kakashi and Hiruzen pop up is not into Naruto's crib is when he's not around and you don't help him out. It took Asani doing whatever the hell he was doing while he was off looking for Orochimaru and doing his
Literally, bro.
like you're telling
Literally.
me you couldn't, as Hokage, you couldn't go visit every night to go visit, make sure Naruto, at least tell him why people don't fuck with him. You're not doing
Nothing.
none of that. You're not
Nothing.
doing nothing. But it takes Jiraiya, which is many chapters later, to tell him what's going on with him. Tell him this is why people like, in a sense, this is what you got inside you. And then Hiruzen gets capped later on at using the
And
resources.
then on top of that, I would let all of that, even with the promise to Minato, I let all of that slide if he was out here doing his due diligence as Hokage. Instead, nah, he letting Danzo and these two bum ass elders running around circles around him doing fuck shit,
Uchiha,
knowing that they made a hit on his life, and he still let them
Uchiha,
operate in the village, bro. He's a
Yeah,
bum.
you're forgetting. You're forgetting. Remember, me and Ryzen had this conversation. I don't remember Ryzen. Well, we pointed out that Hiruzen was getting like attacked on all sides while maintaining a village. He knew that he had to take care of Orochimaru, but he was getting pressed, and people working to get him, which was on Danzo. So like Hiruzen was kind of pinned in the corner. Hiruzen
No,
couldn't
Hiruzen was
do
protecting Naruto. Danzo's the only reason people knew in the first place, and then Hiruzen made it taboo to talk about it, or like out loud talking about it anyways. It's the
Literally.
same reason that he's called Uzumaki instead of Namikaze. It was to protect him from
Yeah,
everyone.
but you're telling me if everybody knows everything about me and I don't even know, the only thing that you're gatekeeping is the fact my dad was the fourth Hokage who got clipped. You couldn't tell me that you couldn't take me under your wing. Had Hiruzen
Yeah,
did
bro.
that, the version of Naruto that we know today would probably be exponentially stronger. He
I
probably would have
disagree.
thought,
I
yo,
think
And
the
you
manga
still
made him
you
stronger.
he
He
still
also would have
has
failed.
capable Jonin. I ain't gonna cap. Right now, if you were to take Hiruzen's era, Jonin versus the Anbu, let's even just say the Danzo's root Anbu, like if that was a civil war to break out, like they're getting smoked. So I don't know why Hiruzen did not act.
You
First
got
of
to
all,
remember though,
fire Danzo, get them niggas clipped, get them
Uchiha.
niggas executed. Like what's stopping them?
But
and that's
Uchiha, you
why
got to remember, even when Danzo died, you were still dealing with root remnants up until Boruto's era. So
Even
it's not a situation where you're just gonna have a civil war. Plus, we got to remember the village at that point was even weaker you have all these other powers.
He dealt
just
with all
blocking.
three.
But
wars, all three.
Ryzen, I had this conversation with you. I said, had Hiruzen died
And
in the
Uchiha.
place of Minato would have handled everything.
Oh, 100%.
Minato would have dogged.
Easy, bro.
Yeah,
Minato
because
would have
Minato had
handled
more
it with
clout.
Maru.
He was younger. He had a lot of things going for him. And Minato
He would have
even
gave
says it.
Danzo a Game of Thrones style execution, bro, right in
And
front of the
Minato
whole
even
village.
says
can't
it.
kill
That if he hadn't
Danzo,
died, he might have
though.
been able to prevent the Uchiha massacre.
The
And even
Hokage's
Naruto
not
says
at
it
the
in the
top,
novel.
though. If he kills Danzo, then he's not going to be Hokage anymore. The Daimon is going to get rid of him. The elders are going to get rid of him. He doesn't have absolute political power.
But you're missing the point, though. Minato had good influence on the village, so he.
When
would have
Danzo got
taken-
caught, no, go ahead, my fault. I was
No,
gonna
go ahead,
rebuttal
go
that.
ahead, Gio, go ahead, Gio.
I was gonna say because when Danzo got caught, now granted, I'm going by Naruto Shippuden anime. I don't know if this was in the manga, but this is canon because it's related to the story. When Danzo got caught red-handed by Hiruzen in the midst of revealing the truth of Naruto being, you know what I'm saying, Minato's son, and having all of these plots, and he attempted to kill him. Donzo looked Hiruzen in the eye, and he was surprised the fact that Hiruzen was not gonna either fire or kill him. So he had that authority at the time. And Hiruzen chose actively to keep Donzo in power because he felt that type of like gray area
Darkness.
tenacity was needed, yeah, for the village, which is right. Granted, it's right, but at the same time, as a leader, you tried to backdoor and snake me. You're done, bro.
Bro,
You're
yeah,
done.
the Danzo did have influence with the daimyo. Like
Yeah.
Danzo was very
That's
well
the thing.
connected with the daimyo, so it didn't even matter what Hiruzen. If Hiruzen did that, the daimyo would have been like, "All right, you're done."
And we
It
saw what
was-
happened with Orochimaru. If you just let Danzo go, you fire him, but you don't kill him, he's a threat to the village. It's going to be a bigger problem down the line.
Make him a threat to the village rather than so like it's because of Danzo's actions, right? Not only is Naruto the known target of all the hatred within the village, right, and then eventually spread it worldwide, but then also the fighters that united in the Uchiha massacre, that war could have been prevented like simply by removing Danzo's influence out the picture. Just Danzo himself.
That's with hindsight, though. Hiruzen obviously doesn't know that at the time. And also, it's a thing of like keep your friends closer, or keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
He
The
has
thing is with
We
Danzo,
also
he is a threat if you push him back into a corner. He's not going to act if you keep him in check, you keep him in line. If you start pressuring him, he's going to act. That's
Same
gonna
like
be
with
the real threat.
Kaoki.
But Danzo had the influence. Well, Danzo had control over the Black.
But we
Ops.
also know
Danzo
that-
had a lot of control during that time.
Yeah.
So fucking with Danzo was literally like, "Oh, you're gonna mess with."
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Danzo
For a nigga
protecting
who's
the
nicknamed God of Shinobi, he has a whole lot of restraints and boundaries to tiptoe around. For somebody who's
also-
feared as like, yeah.
We
I
also
don't
know that Hiruzen was able to successfully, to an extent, keep the bureaucrats in check to a point where he could, like, keep Naruto out there to where Naruto doesn't get put in prison. And we even have the Boruto data file talk about how, yeah, the third Hokage was able to like keep the bureaucrats in check, and that's part of the reason why he was able to like thwart these like splinter cells of the village. Like I can,
You know what? This conversation has led me to believe right now. I'm gonna declare right now. I think in the Naruto series and Boruto series, the biggest fraud, this including people like Code and Kaoki, the biggest fraud is Hiruzen. He's the biggest fraud in this fucking story.
Wow.
No,
He's a
I think
fraud,
the
bro.
biggest. I think the biggest
He's a
fraud
fraud.
are the daimyo. I think the biggest frauds are the daimyo. I really think they're the biggest frauds.
I
'Cause they
think
don't-
y'all underestimate how much power, political power, Hiruzen actually has.
yeah, I have it right
Exactly.
here. I think my screen disappeared,
Under or
It
overestimate.
did, yeah.
but
I think y'all underestimate the amount of power, political power Hiruzen has, and I think y'all.
Underestimate. No.
Or
Nah,
I'm
'cause
sorry,
if I'm
I think y'all. I'm sorry. Other way around. Y'all
Yeah,
overestimate the
Hey.
amount of political power that Hiruzen has, and then y'all underestimate the amount of political power that Danzo has.
Yeah.
at the very
Nah,
minimum,
I see why you would say that, but their interactions throughout the story tells me that Danzo was scared of Hiruzen for a reason, and Hiruzen had the power to make certain decisions that could have gone a better way. Like
But maybe,
even as someone
maybe
like
it's not just
from
because they're friends.
strictly
Maybe
speaking as
Hiruzen
someone
was
from the
forgiving
outside looking in,
Danzo
I
because of
can
his
say
power.
with confidence,
Yeah,
Hiruzen
I
makes a
think
lot
it's
of wrong
literally just
decisions.
because of how strong Hiruzen was, and because Hiruzen is so much stronger than Danzo, he can leverage himself into positions that Danzo
Yeah.
just can't, and he's jealous of
Yeah,
Hiruzen
but
because of that reason. So he has to do very like sneaky and grimy types of things to like overcome Hiruzen's power.
And like we
Can you
said,
imagine- can you
Danzo has
imagine-
control of the entire route Anbu.
Can you
As far
Yeah,
as
imagine?
he's
we
like
know,
the
if he
underground
versus
king.
Danzo,
But can
He's
you
maybe
literally the
imagine?
Danzo could
underground
level the
king.
village with the Anbu.
Can you
With full
imagine
Goku.
if Minato was alive? Minato would have taken care of a lot of the stuff that Hiruzen
He would have
couldn't
killed
do.
Obito.
Well, he wouldn't have been the Hokage. They would have taken him out of that position and found a
Bro,
replacement.
I don't truly believe. I think the power that Minato had, aside from strengths, I think he did have good favor with the village to say, yo, I had to clip this dude, and this. I think the daimyo would have.
Minato was like that nigga. Yeah, he was the up and coming
You
star
don't
like
think they would have
worldwide.
removed him if he did
No, I
something that
don't
would have
think
taken
so.
what they
Nah,
They
wanted?
would
he
have
No,
was
because
removed him. I agree. They would
he was
look at him
love.
as young
Like
and
the
immature, and
original love that
Danzo could
Naruto
actually
got as
leverage that.
Hokage, they would have gave that to Minato. I can't even say
Minato.
times 10 because they glazed Naruto, but like that's like the same amount of love.
They gave Minato a lot of respect. Yes, he would have gotten flack for it, but Minato would have had a lot of evidence, a lot of supporting evidence to show, hey, that this is what Danzo was doing. This is how he was playing the game. Hiruzen couldn't do it. Hiruzen really couldn't do it.
But also think about it this way: if Minato lives,
Man, I ain't gonna
it
give him.
becomes a
Nah,
moot point about
I
the
ain't gonna
Uchiha.
lie. I can't give him that benefit because I think he had so many cards at his hand to where the options were there. They were there. Because if
Nah, bro,
not,
the
then what was
daimyo
he
are
doing
fickle.
in his
They're
second run as
fickle.
Hokage? What was the whole point of that term? You couldn't
They're
even
fickle.
find a suitable successor.
I
Bro,
What was
mean,
his point?
elders are slithery snakes. If they're against someone, the daimyos are just gonna listen to them because they're so good at manipulating the
I
daimyo.
think
They
he's
have
going in
them
and
under
out.
their
Can't
thumb.
hear
It's
him.
bro,
so
look
easy.
how Hiruzen
Yeah, that's
moved.
the thing.
He saw Orochimaru experimenting on Genin. He saw Orochimaru experimenting on kids. But as soon as Minato comes to the battlefield in the war arc and sees Obito, it's on sight. He slashes at Obito. Hiruzen couldn't do that. So you're telling me Hiruzen that Minato wouldn't handle that shit as the fourth Hokage? Yes, he would.
Yeah,
Plus, think about it this
Minato
way:
would be on top
if
of that,
Minato
bro.
lives,
ASAP.
Danzo's whole plan collapses because now he can't frame the Uchiha. Now he can't make rumors for the Uchiha. We know that it was a rogue Uchiha that was fighting Minato, not the Uchiha clan. We also have Obito still being marked by Minato's flying Raijin. So literally, Obito doesn't know that fact. We gotta remember, he doesn't know that the flying Raijin mark never disappears. So at any point in time, once Minato's back up to strength, he can go slit Obito's throat when he's asleep.
Yeah, it's also not fair to say that for Minato it was on site. He didn't realize that it was Obito at first, and once he realized, after he'd already slashed him, he was then in a daze that he couldn't break out on his own. He needed Naruto to break him out.
I just feel like people underestimate Minato in a political sense because Minato did have a lot of influence on the village. Like I do genuinely believe Danzo would have gotten killed by Minato. Minato would have still been held Hokage, and everything really would have went differently.
We don't even know if
Orochimaru,
Minato would have been able to catch Danzo.
how not?
I mean, Danzo is just, we don't know if he's just. Danzo is kind of like 3 steps ahead, man. He's a master
Nah, man,
manipulator.
I can't give him that because
He's very strong within the political game. Again, he's basically the king of the underground, right? He's
As
the
far as
king
we
of the
know,
underworld.
Minato could have been easily
Gonzo
manipulated by
got
Danzo
his
as well.
one up on Shishu.
What if Minato thought Danzo was a good guy? What if he was best friends with
Exactly.
Danzo?
I mean,
He's just gonna
Then
listen to
that's
him
just a bad
until
judgment of
protect
character on
Minato.
Minato's side.
yeah,
That's
that is a
terrible.
No, but he's just slimy like that. That's just how people
Nah,
are. Like
And
that
I don't
he's
think
a
people will
snake,
Danzo would
fool
be
bro.
you.
trying to kill
He's a snake.
Minato, so
Even
that's also
Hiruzen
off the
knew it, bro.
table.
Yeah, nah, he's not
The
on
reason I
Hiruzen.
can't
If it's Hiruzen, yeah, but Minato's
I
way
can't give him
stronger than Hiruzen. He's not
Yeah.
gonna try to
I
kill
can't
Minato.
here's the thing
I
though.
can't give Hiruzen that slack because if we're just talking strictly like power wise, yes, Minato is stronger than Hiruzen, but strictly power wise in this era. They gave this nigga the nickname God of Shinobi. That means anybody else who's in this occupation, we look at this nigga as a god. You telling me you can't do anything to make shit shake in your favor at least a little bit? That's why he's a fraud, bro. He gotta
That's
be
what
a
I'm saying.
fraud.
Like, imagine if Minato survived and Hiruzen was still around. You don't think Hiruzen would have told Minato everything and be like, "Yo, you're acting Hokage now. This is what needs to happen. This is what I can't do." And Hiruzen would have had him and Minato would have been able to handle everything. That's just like saying that Kakashi was alive, Naruto became Hokage, and obviously Kakashi
Literally.
stepped down. Like Kakashi would have relayed all the information to Naruto. Naruto would have handled everything. It's the same thing that would have happened with Minato had Minato survived.
And,
I'll
and it's
also
crazy.
add,
I know because Hiruzen know this too, because when everybody was playing the blame game in the fourth grade Ninja War, Minato was like, oh, he found out, oh, Obito's the one who's been behind all this. Minato's like, nah, this all my fault. Hashirama butt saying like, nah, I should have ended this originally with Madara. Then Hiruzen butt saying, nah, I could have stopped this with the Uchiha. Damn right, it's your fault, Hiruzen. You could have stopped this shit with the
No, no,
Uchiha
no.
massacre.
Well,
You're
I'll
right.
add
He
thematically. I
knows he
do
could
think
have done a lot more in his
narratively,
life.
I think narratively you are wrong. We see Hashirama had the wrong answer trying to take out Madara. We see that through Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto forgave Sasuke. That's the correct answer. Just like Hiruzen forgiving Danzo. That was the correct answer. The problem is what Hiruzen didn't do, why he narratively, thematically failed. He didn't go far enough. You can't just forgive them because he didn't change Danzo, unlike Naruto changed Sasuke. Because Naruto forgave Sasuke at the end of the 5 Kage Summit, but obviously everyone already knows Sasuke's still evil. If he just did that, Sasuke's just going to keep going on with this revolution plan. You have to go on, you have to change them. That's what Hiruzen didn't do. That's why he
But
lost.
you could say the same thing that Hiruzen didn't stop Orochimaru either. Hiruzen sat there and let him.
Orochimaru went evil because of Hiruzen, in my opinion.
Yes, but regardless of the fact, Hiruzen found where he was, saw him doing what he was doing, and he still let him go. Granted, I understand that he looked at Orochimaru as one of his own, but as Hokage, you have a duty to fulfill.
No, I agree. And that gets back to this is a very long conversation that we're not going to get into
There we
right
go.
now.
Finally,
But this gets back to the Hashirama vilify or brainwashing ideology of the shinobi system, shinobi are tools versus humans thing that Hiruzen was taught from a young age. He didn't really have the chance to learn on his own. So we had that instilled into him. So he didn't understand why that didn't work, why that failed, when even at the very end, even when he in Konoha Crush, when he sacrificed his own life, he still sees Kid Orochimaru at the end. The brainwashing's that deep. He doesn't realize the difference between a tool and a human. That's why Orochimaru, that's why it got so far and went so bad as it is. That's the only reason he had to give his own life.
And that's why he's trash.
That's not his fault. That's
I think you underestimate the situation that Hiruzen was put in. I mean, it's a very relatable situation where you have to choose between killing somebody that you deeply care about for a bigger cause or a bigger and greater outcome. And I think Hiruzen was placed in a situation where we have to specifically look at the human elements of Hiruzen, right? Like killing a person that he loves, killing a person that he cares about is a very tough situation. It's something that obviously was a mistake, but eventually, later on we see that he reconciles that. So it's all a learning process. Like here's the
I
learns
don't
from
give him
that.
any
I
slack for
wouldn't
not
say
being
that's a
able to kill
weakness, right?
Orochimaru.
It's
Bro,
like
No,
he's just
bro,
human.
you got to keep in mind everything Hiruzen went through as well. He went through a ton of stuff, not only as a human, but as a Hokage. His son hated him because of the Hokage position that he didn't have time. He wanted, just like Naruto, he viewed the whole family as this village or the village's family. He lost his teachers in both Hashirama and Tobirama. He lost his wife in Biwako and Minato in the same night. The Nine Tails invasion with Obito, he had to deal with that. He had to deal with the Uchiha. He had to deal with all three of the great shinobi wars, by the way. All three of them, which included
Lost his
the whole,
sensei Tobirama and Hashirama.
And you know what,
Didn't he start? But didn't he start one of those wars? Correct me if I'm wrong.
What?
No.
I would
Correct
go
me if I'm
to
wrong.
he
Didn't he start one
he's
of those wars?
responsible for one of
We
them.
got to
he's
look
not.
at all of the instigations for each of these wars because I'm pretty sure. When did he become Hokage in the Second Great Ninja War? Right.
Yeah, he gave when Tobirama gave him the title of
So
Hokage.
yeah, I think he started. I think he started the Third Great Ninja War. I think that's accurately correct.
But you know, it's all up to the position you signed up for. You are now Hokage, so you now have to do what you are
Bro, he had
expected
to
to
deal with like
do.
10 different things at the same time with the Uchiha, the Danzo situation, the Elders, the Obito situation, the Nine Tails, Naruto. There's so much he had to deal with. It's insane. It was just too
He
much.
had
It
to
was
deal with a
overwhelmed.
lot, but I still think his choices, like the Uchiha situation, he's not getting no slack or sympathy from me on that end because like that bad judgment, bad calls.
Yeah,
Naruto is debatable. Yeah, I guess there's a whole lot of orphans at that point. But you promised the dude's dead father that you was gonna do something and you didn't do it. So I don't know. With
but do you
Orochimaru, that's
blame
understandable.
I
I'm
mean, he
just saying
protected
like
him. Naruto was
Naruto?
alive and shit. I mean, he's good.
Yeah, it's the same thing that Naruto did at the beginning of Boruto. He views the whole village as family. It's the same thing with Hiruzen and
But
Asuma.
I do
Remember, Asuma,
give
his child, Asuma didn't like his dad
what if
because he thought the whole
Naruto
village was
said,
family.
all right, Kabuki could come live with us. I'm gonna rent him out an apartment down the street and never visited that nigga a day again. What if he did that?
No,
Hey,
because
that's
it's the
good,
same
nigga. I wish
reason.
somebody would give me an apartment
But
and
you know,
just give me an apartment,
I
I'll
just
give
say,
go in there
Minato.
and
I
live for
listen.
free. Like, oh,
I give Minato
perfect.
flack as well because he didn't have to die. Yes, he protected Kushina, but
oh,
he
Minato did
didn't
not have to
have
die.
to.
That
He
is
did
true.
not have to. It was either him or the mom to survive.
He
No,
had to die. He was too strong, bro.
no. The plot killed him, bro. He didn't have to die. Even Kushina's like, bro, take care of our son, this and that. And then Minto's like, no, you take care of my son. It's like
The
y'all are
one
both
guy,
playing
yeah,
dick
I give him
move.
that because he was too scared to raise Naruto by himself. I'll
But
give
you
him
know
that.
what's
Yeah,
crazy? You know what solidifies it? He's just like his sensei. Jiraiya didn't have to die either. After he dove for intelligence, he could have ran away and just used what he had, but he still decided to go die. So like the
literally.
whole series is kind of fucked at this
Yeah,
point.
and you know what's crazy? Because people be like, "Oh, y'all forget the message on the front." I'm like, y'all acting like Jiraiya wouldn't have went back, contemplated, and came to that conclusion as he sat there and had time to think, as opposed to him coming to the conclusion in the middle, in the heat of battle, dying, by the way, falling through the middle of the ocean with holes in his body. Like, he's like, oh shit, it's six of these niggas.
Like
You don't think after a quick little scuffle, he could have been like, I ain't gonna lie, he might be controlling a
you
couple
know,
of, he probably wouldn't have got the number. He would have been like, yeah, he's controlling some bodies, but it's got to be more.
it's funny you say that. I did a video on that and I got flack for it. People were like Jiraiya, he was getting jumped. Listen, Jiraiya could have made a pocket dimension while he was sitting there trying to figure things out and slid
Literally,
and then
bro.
came back. Like Jiraiya didn't have to die.
He
Yeah,
Really.
did not have to die.
that was his own fault. Nah,
Hey,
but it's
maybe
crazy.
Koji can break that DNA curse. I don't think so, but maybe.
No, but I don't think that. First of all, I think that Naruto made the right call by having Kawaki live with him rather than down the street, not only as a
Yeah,
person but as a Hokage. And we know that Naruto views the Hokage position more importantly, or at least it's that his priority. It's his like
he
first
takes it.
reaction above
He
his
takes it very
human
important.
take. We see that, for example, in the tuning exams. When he hears about Boruto's victory over Shikadai or whatever, he approaches that situation from a Hokage first, and then after Shikamaru walks away, he's like, "Yes, yeah, he's excited, like as his father." So he's
Mhm.
taken the Hokage position more importantly than the father, and I think the same applies for the Kawaki situation. He did Hokage first, and then Naruto second. Yeah, he was excited and giddy and really, really happy that he could help Kawaki, this kid or whatever. But that's after taking care of his duty, is his responsibility to be Hokage.
No,
He made that decision first
Naruto knew damn well that Boruto shouldn't have won that fight against Shikadai. And he went down there and he was like, you got a ninja too, don't you? That's why you won that fight. He didn't go down there to go congratulate him. He made him out to go see what was going on with Boruto for him to win that fight. There was
No, I mean
Naruto.
in the anime, not the movie, because
Yeah,
he
I
wasn't
know.
found out until Shinki in the anime. With Shikadai, it is just none the wiser at that point.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah, the anime tried to change it
yeah,
where
the
like he was like,
anime changed
"Oh,
it.
good job."
But still,
Yeah,
Naruto came down there with the intention of not as a father, but as Hokage. Like, yo, you shouldn't
it's
have
like, yeah,
won.
this little nigga cheat.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah.
But
Naruto's
then
a fraud
even in
too.
the anime, when Boruto said, "I awakened the Byakugan," Naruto says, "No, you didn't. You haven't trained hard enough to do that. I don't believe
Yeah.
it."
And I would know. He said, "Yeah." He said
But
that.
the
I
thing is,
would
I
know.
never watched the anime for Boruto. I've only read the manga because I heard there's a lot of loopholes and there's a lot of fillers. So I don't really watch the Boruto
No, but
anime.
I think the cheating example is a really great example of Naruto putting Hokage first. He's disciplining Boruto not as his own son, but as a ninja, Hokage to ninja. He's disbanding him as a ninja. He's saying, Boruto, we're going to talk about this later when we're home. Right now, I'm doing this as Hokage.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not going to give you the father son
he
talk right
later
now.
doubles back on it, and when they spar in the manga, he uses a ninja tool, but Naruto says it's how you use it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're supposed to be a ninja, it's how you use these tools, but he still uses it. And it's kind of contradictory, even though it's funny. That's how he labels it. But still,
I don't think
Naruto,
it's contradictory. No, I don't think he's doubling back on anything.
no, because he says to use these tools, it's how you use them and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like, which I understand because Boruto used it to cheat his way to winning. Yes, I understand that, but it's a little contradictory because he still uses those tools.
It's basically because that was a test. It's like I can use a calculator at my job, but in an exam, I wouldn't necessarily get that calculator.
Yeah.
So in a real life situation, you're gonna use any tool you can get to survive. But that was strictly a test of how you yourself can fight, what skills you can put to the table in a safe position. Because unlike the old tuning exams, there's no fear of loss of death. You're sparring against friendly allies. So that was him using a tool that was banned for that specific test. That
But
was
at,
a spar where you can just use whatever you have.
but at the
It's
end of the day, you can still say like that still can be debated because yes, I know tests and rules and cheating are wrong. I understand that, but they can still use these tools when they're fighting for their lives. Boruto still uses in the manga the tools that Katsuki made to nullify the same exact tool so he can use it for Rasengan. It's how you use them. I understand.
yeah, and
that
there's nothing
point.
wrong with that. So
But
it's the difference between using it as a crutch, a supplement, rather than a complement. Because, like you're saying, it's practically indistinguishable if they use it or not in that regard. It's not about physically actually using it. It's about the choice to use it and rely on it in the first place. Because it's not about the physical power. It's about the mindset. Because they want the next generation to have innovation, to come up with stuff on their own. Because if they rely on their ninja tools, they're not going to do anything in the future when they're the adults. They're just going to keep relying on the same thing, and then they're going to stagnate. They're not going to continue to progress the technology or develop their society. They're just going to go with what they already have and be satisfied with that. Naruto's trying to instill the ideology to not do that and to build your own power, to continue growing, to progress as not only as a ninja, but as a human.
And that's exactly why we have piece of shit like Kawaki running around. He's the prime example of a ninja tool that can just, with just words, he can power up, and that's why I hate him as a character.
I mean, at some point, Kawaki will get his last high. Is what I'm gonna say. He's gonna finally overdose on one of Amado's like quick fix, like Amado said, and it's gonna be funny.
Bro, he should be there right now. This most recent one that he got was already risky. It could have already failed. I don't think he can do it again.
Wait, yo, do you think that's how Ada gets clapped? This newest upgrade of Kawaki has like some type of side effect where he overheats, and then she sends Daemon to help him. And that's how she gets blindsided. That would be hilarious.
That'd be crazy. I mean, that narratively, that's low key kind of good with like the consequence of Kawaki doing this. But the problem is he's not going to care because he's not going to care. So he's not going to realize anything. He's not going to do anything differently because of this.
I mean, I think that would be funny because then that leads us to a conflict with Daemon and Kawaki. Because Daemon would blame Ada's getting devoured on Kawaki. That could potentially lead us to a Kawaki versus Daemon.
He might. I don't know if he actually will. I don't know if Ikimoto would write it that way.
I hope not, but it would be funny.
It would be funny. I'll give you that.
I gotta hop out. I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah. One more thing, Ryzen, is because I've been meaning to say this for the past while, especially tonight, but also just for the past couple podcasts I've been listening to. So you, whenever you were talking about killing a character and how that we need that for the sakes because Yodo was enough, nobody cares about Yodo. First of all, I think that's a writing decision. I think we were supposed to care about Yodo, and Ikimoto just drastically failed in that regard, like in every possible regard.
Your point, yeah.
but ignore that. Ignoring that, nobody cares about Yodo. That's the reality of the situation. So we need a main character to die that we're going to care about. I don't think that's necessary because for the exact same reason. What have been the stakes in the first 25 or whichever for the first 28 chapters where nobody has died up until now? Because I would argue the same thing.
I don't think a death is necessarily needed. I think a win for the other side is what's needed because you can argue that Sasuke got treed, but he's not dead. I think we need to justify the other side of it because right now it feels like things are moving towards Boruto. So like. I'm going under the assumption that if someone gets devoured, they're dead.
So I would argue the other
in a
side.
Tree,
you can say that it's not wins that we would care about, such as Yodo's death, but I would argue the other side has got wins, plenty of wins at this point. The fact that Shinju revived in and of itself, I'm not going to necessarily say is a win for the other side, but it's a loss for the main character side. But things like Moegi being devoured, I'll say, is technically a win for the other side. They got monster out of that, etc., etc. So and the fact, like, again, like chapter 13, like Jura did just snipe Boruto. He got Hidari Soulthorn back. The other side has got wins. You can say it hasn't amounted to anything, but it's made the struggle that the main characters have gone through entirely pointless. And that struggle itself came with risk. So they can't just
I can definitely see that. That's definitely a fair take. I just want them to have like a push. Like with the Akatsuki, we kind of saw that with them gathering the Jinchuriki in the background or even just Asuma dying, or even just like getting people incapacitated, I feel like we need just one little thing to tip the balance away from Boruto, to have him kind of fall into that despair for a bit. That's just my personal opinion. And you're definitely right. It doesn't need a death. I just think we need to justify having consequences to Boruto's actions, because he saved Konohamaru. And so far the only consequence is potentially making Kawaki a bigger threat for the future. I kind of want there to be a consequence to his action of like kind of going against Koji. I want to see both sides have merit, to where Boruto, him taking risks can help in the short term, but there has to be a trade-off where he can't have anything. That's just my opinion. That's what I kind of want to see. But you definitely do have a point.
Personally, I think the best way to up the stakes isn't going to be something like changing the established quo by like killing a character like Asuma or anything like that. I think just looking at what we've had in the past, some of the best ways to elevate that tension is by introducing a new concept and upping the scale beyond anything we even thought possible before, such as the 5 Kage Summit. Obito introduces the idea of the 10 Tails. That changes the playing field entirely. He basically flipped the table of the chessboard that we thought we were playing. No, he's been playing some other game this entire time, and when we basically been pawns all along. Something like that, to where it's an entirely another level, that's the stuff that I love the most.
I hope so, which is why I hope we do get like a crumb of Otsutsuki stuff. Like, I hope this leads into like some other Otsutsuki type villain. Like, we still have the tablet, we still have Akemi on the side.
Exactly. So it's not even the explanation itself, it's the implications of introducing the thing. Because the 10 Tails, it was just mentioned, just name drop, but like the lore behind what that could possibly be, the potential behind it is drastic. In the same way, the feeling that you get when Sasuke first teleports to that Jigen's 10 Tails dimension, because we didn't know that Jigen had a 10 Tails, or that dimension existed, or those stone tablets existed, or anything like that, or the holograms, especially with Ishiki and Jigen, that there. Nothing was revealed there. They only asked questions. But that was the last time I really felt like there was a drastic, world-changing event,
and the stakes drastically went up, because now you realize that we took care of Kinshiki and Momoshiki, at least in the short term, and Kaguya, but now we're finding out there's this whole other Otsutsuki, which leads us into Jigen. But then in the back of our minds, we still have those destroyed stone tablets that are just sitting in the corner. Why is there a 10 Tails? And then we slowly get to learn what's been going on with Amato explaining the 10 Tails and explaining Ishiki. And I really hope we get the next introduction to raise the stakes after the Divine Trees, because I think Bara said it, like it feels like a training arc. It feels like after we finally scrape by these threats, we're gonna get something that's gonna totally spike up the despair levels in the verse. But I have to run.
Shibai was a good one. My only problem with that is that they're saying don't worry about him, he's not a threat. Unlike the Akatsuki at the end of part 1 of Naruto, where Jiraiya is saying, yeah, Naruto, they're gonna come after you in like 3 years from now. It's gonna happen. So I feel like that's a difference, considering
I agree. And like Shibai's kind of like, if we take it off face value, Shibai right now has like literally no reason to interfere.
Exactly.
Unless you right around like something a corner, like if you go, you'd have to go into circles and like explain it, because right now he's chilling in some other higher level of existence. He has no reason to interact with third dimensional beings at all.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I gotta hop out. I got work tomorrow. It was always a pleasure talking to you guys. I can't wait for that sneak peek tomorrow if you guys want to talk about it. But I'll talk to you guys later.
See ya. Peace. But if anyone else has anything to say, free game, I think it's just us. I don't know if you're even there. I have to run. Thank you guys so much for having me. Good night, y'all. Oh, bye, Waver Ray. Even though you've been gone. And same with Black Uchiha, who's also gonna dip out for some Z's. So yeah, free game. I guess I guess that's it. So Cloud Ninja Podcast, how you guys doing? I guess I'll read chat. I mean, I'll read my own chat as well. I should probably do that. But let me just go to free games chat just really quick. Let's see here. Is it live on front page? No, it's not. Okay. Here, where is the Cloud Ninja podcast on here? Right here. Yeah, that's weird. That's not saying that y'all are live. Oh, I bet you're on Twitch. I bet that's it. I bet you that's it. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Okay. I don't know if I can read old chat messages on Twitch. So sorry, guys. If you have anything new to say, let me know now. Otherwise, I'm just gonna read my own chat. Hey, what's up, Bay Usaw and everyone? Hello, Space. Hello. I started late, like an hour late. So if you want to see the Clown podcast conversation from before I started streaming, go over there and watch the first hour of theirs. I've been going live for 2 hours, so it's like you're missing 33% of the first half of the conversation, I guess. But yeah, been a while since we have a Walkie Talk podcast and the Clown Ninja podcast together. You're not wrong, but I also feel like Bara was only there for like part of the time, and he wasn't talking too much overly. And then Ryzen and Waverly and Juju were there, so it was hardly a Cloud Ninja podcast. It was Cloud Ninja podcast in name, but not in spirit. Especially with me there. But yeah. So we'll have to do that again and hook up and link up and do all that another time. What's up, Adam Andrade? What's up? Okay, let's start this over. What's up, guys? Hey, guys. Ooh, what's up? Shut. Very interesting. Wow, hey, okay. What y'all think the spoiler finna be? There we go. A comment that isn't hello for the 20th. Good question. What is the spoiler gonna be? I'm gonna guess a page number. I feel like that's an interesting one. I'm gonna guess we're gonna get page 28 as the spoiler. It's not gonna be Boruto versus Momushi. It's gonna be Kawaki talking via the Inoji new jutsu mind transfer thing that he's doing. He's gonna be talking to someone. I don't know who. Maybe Ada, maybe Mitsuki. That's going to be my guess. It's going to be Kawaki not in a desperate pitch necessarily, but he's going to be like in he's going to have some sort of urgency. He's not going to be mid-combat yet. He's going to be maybe demanding even. Like, where's Momushi? Tell me where he is. I'm going to rush over there right now and come on. And then it's going to be something like that. Or maybe if Mamushi's making a move in like a new vicinity, he's going to try and rush over there to protect Ada or something. Maybe he'll meet up with Boruto or something. I don't know. He's going to do something. That's my guess. That's going to be my guess on the spoiler sneak peek. Momushi also came faster since he did that too. But the timeline makes no sense considering he came in like 5 minutes and also like several days later. Yeah, check comments every 40 minutes. Well, you know, it's what it is. Why y'all don't add comments to the screen? Well, to be fair, Free Game did. I could have saw your comment if you commented on Free Game's Twitch. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay. Nothing on the Twitch side with all 8 viewers not saying a single thing. You're just listening to me? What are you guys doing? Who's even watching? I bet it's most people that are just like playing a game in the background or with this in the background or something. But anyways, yo, good guess. Thanks, Zion. Any other questions you got for me before I end and inevitably leave Free Game to his lonesome while he's not here to end the stream? Oh, I gotta follow him over there. Yeah. I did that just the other week when he announced it on his whatever area. Yo, I float high. What's up? I float high. Well, I float high. If you have any questions, feel free to type them. I've been listening too. I thought so. Hey, I was right. Well, I float high. Are you doing anything in the background? Are you playing any games? Shout out Balloon Tower Defense, which recently got a DLC. I also got Mega Bonk, and I've been grinding that to 100%. But yeah. Why are the viewers only going up? I'm just killing dead air for Free Game. You're welcome, Free Game. I guess I'm loved around here. People just love me. Remind me, Space, if you're still listening, that we got to do a My Hero Academia podcast with Ultra and Ace as soon as we can, because since they have a day in mind, I forget what it maybe was that tomorrow. It's one of these days. He's been on Fraud Watch since chapter 27, I heard. Well, I don't know who he is, but maybe. Oh, Daemon. Well, you heard wrong. Well, it's not that you heard wrong. You heard what someone said correctly. What they said is wrong. Gonna have to install Balloon Tower Defense 5. I mean, it's a W game. It's pretty fun. There's a lot of hours you can get out of there. Did you notice the Karma Seal on Akabi's pod? On the pod? That's interesting. Now I want to go back and double check that. It's probably just the design and not literally the Karma Seal, since Kawaki seemingly has just not done that yet. But let's find out. So it was what chapter? It was chapter 24, maybe. I also have to find a version that's going to actually work. And also, you can't see it on free game screen since I don't know how to share. Actually, wait, can I? Can I do that? I bet I can, actually. Can I share screen here somehow? Share screen? Oh, I can. Oh, look at that. There you go. Okay, free game. I'm giving you some visuals even. Oh, do you have to like accept it, or does it just automatically? Oh yeah, no, okay. You have to like add it, but you're obviously clearly not here because otherwise you just didn't stream. So. Well, you know, it's fine, I guess. Karma's still on Akabi's pod. Well, yeah, let's find out. Yeah, it will decide if he's actually a fraud or not in this upcoming chapter. Only one way to find out. Well, I guess anyone on Free Games Twitch, if you want to just hop on over my stream really quick, just get to see if it's actually there in chapter like 24 or whatever chapter was. If anyone remembers, feel free to tell me. I'm also really bad at finding it, so I just might not be able to find it. I'm just gonna check if it's like 3 chapters ago. Chapter 26, probably not, but we'll find out. Yeah, no, this is too late. It's not gonna be here. And then I don't know another website that it would be. So if anyone has any ideas, feel free to let me know. But otherwise, oh, well, shout out someone on Steam. Just a design, but foreshadowing, maybe. I don't know if that's how foreshadowing works, but I like what you're going for, like the idea there. Maybe a little bit cameo, Easter egg type of deal, or just a cool design in general, but who knows? I've been going back to chapter 75 through 80 to get a better understanding for Daemon's ability. Does he have to be touching someone to reflect, or does he reflect without touching anyone regardless? So it's both. Well, I guess it's just touching anyone regardless. He can touch someone, and you can argue that's a different aspect or ability of the reflection. But yes, he can reflect without touching anyone. Ignore what Bug said. He's wrong. Pretty sure he only needs to touch someone to transfer the ability. I agree with that. And he can reflect anything. I agree. We still don't know the full conditions. Kido Maki thinks that you have to be looking at someone for like a different kind of reflection, because there might be a difference between the intent, the reflect intent, and the reflect action. Because I do think there's a difference to where he can reflect both, but there might be a difference of how he reflects one versus the other. To where if you intend to do something versus if you accidentally, per se, were to have harmed Daemon, then I think there's a difference of how that could be reflected, but just a possibility. But yeah, so that seemingly is all the questions. So we might just have to end it there. And since I'm the only one there, that's technically ending it for both streams, even though free game stream is just going to keep on going till he ends it anyways. One thing I can do is looking at the comments first tab. Again, this Twitch is not going to know this since you can't see my screen. But on my stream, the Walkie Talkie Podcast, you find it on YouTube. I'll just read a comment really quick, I guess. Just want to find one that I want to read. Actually, I kind of do want to save these for Comweep. I don't know. I just realized that we only have tomorrow to do. Okay, so yeah, the My Hero Academia podcast is tomorrow. Well, anyone watching on Free Games Twitch, hey, there's a call to action. Go subscribe to the Walkie Talkie Podcast, and you'll see My Hero Academia podcast tomorrow. Yeah, trippy, bro. Pretty trippy. But I guess we'll just end it there. So for the Cloud Ninja podcast, for those that don't know, we have an interesting